Is that as low as you can go? Okay, thank you. Hello, is that as low as you can go? Okay, thank you.
What are you doing?
Calling around to get the best rate on a car loan.
Why? Everyone knows Alcoa 10 is the best choice to purchase a vehicle or refinance your current loan. And with low interest rates and 90 days to your first payment, it's a no-brainer. You can even apply online and sign all the documents from the convenience of your home.
Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking.
Alcoa 10 Credit Union. It's so easy. Go to atfcu.com for details. Rates are dependent on credit score and equal housing lender.
Hi there, Swain Event family. Are you in the market to purchase a home and a bit freaked out with the market right now? As someone who's been in your spot before, I'm familiar with what's going through your brain. And as a realtor, I've mastered the ins and outs of the buying process. When you work with me, you'll benefit from my experience, and together we'll work toward making sound, smart decisions for your future. And of course, talk a little Vol Sports along the way. Just give me a call, Jennifer Morris, Keller Williams Realty, 865-257-7897, or email me at jennifermorris865@gmail.com. Hope to hear from you soon.
When you start your own business, you know that branding can make or break a new venture. That's why Swain Event relies on 42nd Street. 42nd Street is a strategy agency focused on finding creative, open-minded, results-driven solutions to brand design. After over a decade of operations in East Tennessee, the brand architects at 42nd Street have the experience and creative know-how to ensure the success of your business branding, logo, web presence, and more. To see a real-life example of their amazing work, you can check out our website at swainevent.com. Don't trust the branding of your business to just anyone. Check out my friends at 42nd Street online at 42st.com or give them a call at 865-382-7007. 42nd Street, brand, strategy, design.
Deep down the middle's got his man, and he's gone. Jason Swain, touchdown.
It's time for the Swain Event with your host, Jason Swain.
My man.
Real sports talk for the real sports fan.
All you chumps are going to bow when I whoop him.
It's time for the Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue.
Give me 2 laps and a Ric Flair.
Swain Event, SwainEvent.com, fueled by Dead End Barbecue, top 100 barbecue restaurant in America. 865-255-03 is our telephone number. Hope you are having a great morning. It is Monday, the first day of the month. They remember what you do in November, and for Tennessee, they have an opportunity to create some memories for the 2021-2022 season. Ben McKee, Jason Swain. Ben is live there from the Low T Center studio. I am right here in the beautiful showroom of Beatty Chevrolet off Parkside Drive. Ben, how was your weekend? A nice weekend, kind of off from Tennessee football. It's never really a dull moment. Always something going on as the coaches hit the recruiting trail. But how was your weekend?
My weekend was good. It was very good. A much needed weekend in West Tennessee.
How was the game, man? How was the game? How was the trip? How was everything? The drive. You went to the town. Went to Memphis. Got a chance to hit the Grizzlies game. You covered the baseball game, man. You were still busy, even though you took a nice trip, man. How was that?
It was nice. It was really nice. Got to see a lot of people. I mentioned last week on the show that my best friend had his first child, so I got to stop in good old Columbia, Tennessee, and check in on he and Miss Evelyn, the new baby. Ace obviously letting his thoughts be known this morning. Shout out to Ace.
That's all good. Barely can hear.
We just need to put a mic in his little spot, obviously. But that was nice, and then made my way over to good old Munford, Tennessee. to see my grandma. Hadn't been there in a hot minute, and it was good to see her. And I've got a lot of love for West Tennessee, a lot of nostalgia going back because that's where I spent my summers growing up. As an Army brat, you don't have one home. You have many homes, but the one constant is always your grandparents' houses, my dad's side and my mom's side. So it was nice to be back for the first time in quite some time and spend time with her. And the baseball game was really fun, really great crowd there in Millington, Tennessee at the USA Stadium. Saw 901 Vol, saw DR Vol, saw West Tennessee Vol, saw a lot of listeners, so that was really neat. And Tennessee baseball played well, and I tweeted this out. It was really cool to see how gracious the baseball program was with their time, and a whole lot of kids and grown-ups too wanting autographs and photos, and there wasn't a player or a coach that turned one down, so that was cool to see. And got some good old barbecue this weekend. Saw the Grizzlies. They lost. The Heat are winning it all. I'll tell you that right now. the Heat, they've got all the pieces. If they stay healthy, I'm calling it now. I know we're just 2 weeks into the NBA season, November 1st. I'm calling it now. They are winning the NBA Finals. You heard it here first. They were unstoppable. Could not miss. I don't know the exact number of what they finished, but they shot over 60% from three. I mean, they could not miss from three. So I picked the wrong Grizzlies game to go to, but it was nice. The Civil Rights Museum, got to do that, and that stirred up a lot of emotions. And I would encourage anybody, if you get the chance, you need to go to the National Civil Rights Museum. It's emotional. It should stir up some emotions. I think you need to reevaluate yourself if it doesn't stir up some type of emotion. But it's something that I feel like everybody should be required to go experience because it's a needed reminder of where our country was not that long ago, and it does provide some hope, but also is full with sadness. At least it was for me. So that was really neat. The National Civil Rights Museum, they have put on a great exhibit and a great history lesson, and that was just awesome. That really sat with me throughout the weekend. But I had a good weekend. My bad Pittsburgh Steelers won a football game over a good football team. So I don't know what makes that makes the Steelers at this point going into our Monday Night Football game next week with the Bears this upcoming week. But I had a great weekend. I had a really great weekend. I appreciate you asking. I hope you had a great weekend. I saw the kiddos got all dressed up, so that was really neat. They looked great.
Yeah, we didn't do much trick-or-treating, but we got them dressed up yesterday as I filled in for Austin Price on The Nation there at Texas Roadhouse. So it was Chris Lowe and myself, and Hendon Hooker was a guest. Also, ESPN's Greg McElroy was a guest, and it was a good time. And Hendon was Hendon, answering questions. The way that a quarterback will answer questions, not saying too much, not giving away too much. We saw that on Tennessee Prime, which was a more laid-back environment. But he was buttoned up for sure on this interview, so he didn't really say much that he hasn't said already. But for Greg McElroy being on the program, I asked him. When Tennessee played Alabama and Tennessee was making plays against Alabama, was it Tennessee making those plays or was it Alabama making mistakes? Was it Tennessee being semi lucky? And I asked that because the broadcast came across like that. The broadcast last week when McElroy was on the call, it came across like that. Every time Tennessee made a play, it was because of an Alabama mistake, and they messed up, not because we just made a good play. And in that moment of calling calling the game, I can understand how he's not really able to elaborate on what he meant. So I asked him that question yesterday on The Nation, and he went into detail. He talked about Alabama having 7 to 8 busts a game on defense, and Tennessee, because of their tempo, because of how they do things on offense, forces you to make those mistakes from a alignment standpoint. And he gave the credit to Tennessee. He also said that going into the season, they thought Tennessee was just going to be really, really bad. And listen, guys, we thought the same thing. I think everyone thought the same thing. When you look at the situation that Tennessee was in with the brand-new coach, transfer portal, culture super, super negative and toxic, we thought Tennessee would be bad too. We didn't think Tennessee would be in the position that they're in right now, where many of the national guys and announcers, Musburger on CBS looked at Tennessee for Georgia's toughest game left, and how Tennessee presents some problems for Georgia. And we're talking about the number 1 team in the country right now, and how Tennessee presents some problems for them. No one would have thought that sitting here at the beginning of November that Tennessee would be talked about like that. And Tennessee has a chance right now to beat a top 15 team in Kentucky. And Ben, I know you've been super busy over the weekend, getting a lot of stuff done, making some trips. But that Kentucky-Mississippi State game, oh, boy.
Oh, I was busy this weekend, but last night when I got home, I did 2 things. I sat down and watched the Tennessee basketball exhibition, and that was fun to watch. Your boy Urosh making some plays.
You see him with the steal. You see him with
yeah.
You see him with
In
the steal.
transition twice. He had the dunk. He had the little finger roll.
You see? Oh, I can't wait to talk about basketball. Well, go ahead.
I can't either. But I watched that, and then I went through and watched the Kentucky and Mississippi State game, and there is an opportunity for more than an opportunity for Tennessee to win this football game. I do think they need to get healthy. Hopefully that was accomplished over the bye week, because you're going to need Cade Mays and Cooper Mays, and it would look like Cooper is going to play in this game since he played the entirety of the Alabama game.
Mm-hmm.
But you need 75 at left guard, and you need 68 at right tackle. So you need to get healthy, and if you can be, especially in the trenches, get Elijah Simmons back, and you hold your weight in that area of the ball game, Swain, Tennessee will win this football game. If they can match Kentucky's physicality, which I think that they will, assuming that they are healthy, they'll win this football game, because Kentucky has issues. That doesn't mean that they're a bad football team. I'm still sticking to my guns. I still think Kentucky is a good football team. How good, that's a separate conversation, but I think at the end of the day, they're still a pretty solid to good football team. I mean, that's their first bad loss of the season, outside of the Georgia game. So let's not let one Saturday cloud our judgment. The Jets beat the Titans. That doesn't mean that the Jets are better than the Titans, but this game is more than winnable. More than winnable. And I wanted to get to this stat that my friend SEC StatCat tweeted out yesterday, that since Kentucky barely beat UTC, Kentucky is 0 for 10 with 2 interceptions on deep balls attempted. So I can't remember which week that UTC game was for Kentucky off the top of my head. It's been several games ago. And since then, on deep balls, Kentucky is 0 for 10 with 2 interceptions. And here's an even more eye-popping stat in terms of trying to pass the ball down the field, Swain. On passes 10 or more yards downfield, just 10 or more yards. Just 10. 12 for 33, 3 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, and as SEC StatCat puts it, a lousy 6.4 yards per attempt. So this is a very one-dimensional offense. And if Tennessee's defensive front can match Kentucky's physicality, which I think that they will under Rodney Garner, Tennessee should be fine in this football game.
That Kentucky game was the third game of the season. They opened with Louisiana Monroe, and then they beat Missouri in the second game. And then the third game is where they barely beat UTC 28-23. So how about that? Take that for data. Take that for data. Ben, which quarterback is better? I mean, is it Terry Wilson Jr. or is it Will Levis? Because I don't really know right now. I really don't know.
That's a great question. It's been weird to watch Will Levis start the season off really well and decline the rest of the way. It's been really strange because you would think that he would get better because of Liam Cohen, the former Rams offensive assistant that Mark Stoops brought in this offseason to be Kentucky's new offensive coordinator. I believe he was working with the Rams quarterbacks. He was like the assistant quarterback coach or maybe the quarterback coach there for the Rams. And you would think that Will Levis would get better week to week, but he's gotten worse week to week. And it's not for a lack of weapons. I mean, Kentucky doesn't have a huge arsenal, but I feel like Quandale Robinson's a pretty good one to have if you're going to have just one weapon and to work off of their running game. You would think things would be available in the play-action game and open up things for the passing game, but it hasn't.
Ben, there's a couple things that worked for Mississippi State over the weekend. Number one, there's no order of importance. I'm just throwing it out. The game was played at the end of October. We have seen Kentucky for multiple weeks. You can't fool anybody at this point of the season. You are who you are. So the Mississippi State coaching staff, they get paid too. They have 24 hours in a day just like everyone else. And they did a good job of scheming Kentucky up and identifying their weaknesses and exposing their weakness. So when you play, 7 games, and you have 7 games to watch an opponent for an entire week, you're going to pick up some things that's going to help you. And there's not much that you don't already know about that team after 7 games. So I think that played in Mississippi State's favor. I think Kentucky being almost seems like one-dimensional. I mean, they run the football well, but besides Waddell Robinson, they just don't have that passing attack that scares you. And Will Levis, his confidence is shaking right now. I mean, everything that could have went wrong in that football game did. I mean, you had a great play made by a defensive tackle, sinking back and tipping the ball up and being intercepted. So even when he was about to make a good read, the ball was tipped up and there's really no fault of his own. And then when he made, when he tried to make a play with the pocket being clean and the ball wasn't tipped up, the DBs from Mississippi State made great plays on the football. So his confidence is shaking right now. Now, I do not expect Kentucky to beat themselves and play as bad as they did on offense at home this weekend. That was one of those games where, everything just went wrong. So I don't anticipate that to be that bad. But I do anticipate Tennessee giving Will Levis some trouble because deep balls like you just illustrated with their stats, that's something that they're not good at. Tennessee, heading into the bye week, was number 1 in the country at tackles for loss. And that's not just passing plays. That is getting in the backfield of the opponent, running the football. So I feel like that's going to continue to happen, and it's going to put Kentucky in some binds. The last thing that worked in Mississippi State's favor is just the matchup. The matchup. It doesn't. Sometimes a team is better than you leading up to the matchup, leading up to the game. But what you do well versus what they do well, it's just a bad matchup, and it's in your favor. Remember all the good Rick Barnes basketball teams. And we would run into a team like Auburn who would score a lot of points and throw up a lot of threes. We were like, the matchup is just not in our favor. Just not in our favor. Now, they were a better basketball team too, but the matchups also play a part in, a game between two teams. This is why there's people that's talking about the Georgia-Tennessee game and saying, hey, man, Tennessee presents some problems for Georgia. Why? Is it because Georgia's a better football team? No, excuse me. Is it because Tennessee's a better football team? No, it's because Georgia is not that great at scoring the football. And Tennessee is good at that. It is good at that. So that's where the matchup problem is there for Georgia. Not saying Georgia's going to lose. Not saying Tennessee's going to win. Georgia certainly has more talent. It's a better football team. But the matchups give Tennessee a little bit of a chance and can scare Georgia a little bit. This is what the guys like Brent Musburger and Greg McElroy and these guys are saying. So the matchup for Kentucky just, dude, they're not used to going up against a pass-happy team like Mississippi State that throws the ball the way they did. And my goodness, Mississippi State's quarterback was on fire. Will Rogers was on fire. I mean, he was as efficient can be. He lit Kentucky up. So if you are Hendon Hooker, if you are these group of wide receivers, you are Josh Heupel, you are licking your chops because Mississippi State gave you the blueprint. And I don't care that Mississippi State beat Kentucky. I don't think it really matters. Well, it would have been good if Kentucky would have won. It don't matter. Kentucky's weakness is their weakness. And they were exposed. They were exposed. And I'm sorry, 5-6 days is not enough time to fix the weaknesses of Kentucky because this is a team that had the same weaknesses all season long. It was just Mississippi State, one of the few teams in this conference that can expose them the way that they can. Alabama can. We saw Mississippi State do it. And now I think Tennessee is a football team that can do it too.
Yes, and real quick on Mississippi State, Swain, I know you're not much on the Mike Leach bandwagon per se. I don't know what to think of Mike Leach. 1 week, I just don't think he's going to make it in the SEC whatsoever. And then he turns around, and every now and then he has a performance like this. I just have no idea what to make of Mike Leach in the SEC. Do you?
Yeah, absolutely. He's a coach that, just like you said, every once in a while he'll do what he did. He did that in his first season against LSU, and then he'll turn around and he'll lose to a team that's not as good as him. Now, one thing that stood out about this game between Mississippi State and Kentucky is that he ran the football more. I mean, they were at their season average at like halftime. They didn't have 100 yards rushing, but they had right around 90, and they're last in the country at rushing yards. They're like at 40, 48, 46, something like that a game. So that's what you can expect with Mississippi State. And like that was a game where everything went right for Mississippi State. Mm-hmm. That's a game that you just can't count on to happen every single week. Like, come on, man. Like, they had 3 or 4 interceptions, had fumbles. Like, that doesn't happen every week where you win the turnover margin by that much. So you got to take that into consideration. That's something that won't happen consistently. But Mike Leach will have those type of games. But to win in this conference, you got to do it week in and week out. And his formula is something that you just can't rely on week in and week out. You can't. Like, you just can't throw the ball that much, abandon the run, and expect to win in this conference week in and week out. So Mike Leach, just like last year, man, he beat a ranked opponent, a team that was better than him, a team that was favored against him. So, no, I mean, I like Mike Leach. I just don't think what he does means that he's going to be successful consistently in this conference.
Yes, but I'm all for him giving Nick Saban a headache once a year. It's kind of like preparing for the triple option.
He didn't do it this year or last year.
No, but, I mean, it's only his second year in the SEC. Maybe he can reach a point like Dan Mullen did to where he has his guys in there. And
maybe.
He's gotten Will Rogers to that point of where Will Rogers runs that air raid flawlessly. Will Rogers is one of the better quarterbacks in the SEC, one of the better players in the SEC that nobody is talking about. He is very good, and I believe he comes back next year. So Mike Leach in his third year, and Mississippi State's defense is pretty defense. Zach Arnett, good defense coordinator there for Mississippi State. I'll be curious to see what Mike Leach can do in year 3, year 4 there at Mississippi State, because at Mississippi State you have to build towards that 3rd, 4th, 5th year when you take over, especially after the Joe Moorhead debacle. Whereas I know Tennessee is a big rebuild. I'm not saying that, but there's a quicker path to success at a place like Tennessee. Theoretically, Heupel could have Tennessee competing for Atlanta in just year 3, whereas you're probably not doing that at Mississippi State. It's easier to get players to Tennessee than it is Mississippi State. So I'll be curious to see what Mike Leach does once he really gets his guys in there. Are you glad? I know we kind of talked about this last week, and you don't really care, but I wonder if your feelings have changed any now that Kentucky has lost. Do you care whether Kentucky won or lost? Because I said this last week, I would have rathered Mississippi State lost and Kentucky had won, because I don't want a team losing the week before they play my team, because I feel like that just grabs their attention. I feel like Kentucky is more likely to be more locked in and more focused this week after a loss than it would be after a win, because when you winning masks a lot of deficiencies, and you feel better about yourself than you probably should. So you may not put in that extra 15-30 minutes of film on a Thursday or Friday, or do an extra set of reps on the jugs machine after practice throughout the week. But when you lose, you're doing everything in your power to get it corrected. So I do take the stance, not that I think it's the end-all, be-all and will determine the game, but if I had my pick of the litter and I could have chosen an outcome, I would have picked Kentucky to win that game, Swain, just because I fall under the category of I think they'll be more focused going into this football game.
The only reason I would say playing Kentucky after a win would be if you beat Kentucky, the win looks better because they're ranked higher. Right now they're 18th. That's the only reason, because it doesn't matter if you win or lose. Every coaching staff is looking at the film and wanting to correct mistakes. So those mistakes are going to be corrected whether they won or lost, to be honest. And because Kentucky is playing Tennessee, doesn't matter if they won or lost, it's still one of Kentucky's biggest football games because it's Tennessee. In Tennessee's worst decade of football, Tennessee is still 7-3 against Kentucky. Kentucky hates Tennessee. So I don't think it really mattered whether or not Kentucky won or lost, because it's Tennessee. It's the team down south. It's a team that we hate. I don't think it really matters. You win the game if you're Kentucky, you still had all these turnovers, you still had all these mistakes, and you still got to go fix them and correct them. I don't think it's any different that you lost. Tennessee got a chance to get the blueprint in this football game, whether if it was a close game and Kentucky squeaked out a win by 1 point or 2 points or whatever, you still learn a lot from Mississippi State and how they attacked Kentucky, how they gave Kentucky trouble. So other than just beating a team that's ranked higher, just make it look good for you, I just don't think it matters if they won or lost to me. Like Georgia, hey, man, you want them to come in number 1 in the country, right? Because if you win, it looks great for you. If Georgia would have lost this weekend, maybe Georgia's, 5th or 6th or 7th or whatever, and it doesn't look as good. It looks great, but it doesn't look as great if they were number 1 in the country. That's how I look at it. But it's Tennessee, Kentucky. It's a rivalry game. And Tennessee got the doors blown off last year. And Kentucky hates Tennessee. So, this game is going to be This game will be certainly different than last week's game, Mississippi State and Kentucky. It's a night game for Kentucky. They'll be feeling it. I'm sure they'll come out with their black uniforms and chrome helmets or whatever they wear in big night games. So expect the intensity to be at an all-time high. We will take our first break of the day here at Beatty Chevrolet, Parkside Drive, 865-255-03. Be right back.
I'm Vince Moore, wide receiver, VFL 1991, and you're listening to the Swain Event.
When I made the move to my own studio, I was worried about this. I was worried about that. I was worried about, hey, did I get this piece of equipment? Did I get that piece of equipment? Does that sound good? Does that not sound good? One thing I didn't have to worry about, that was office furniture, because Office Furniture Outfitters met my furniture needs. With a 50,000 square foot facility, they have East Tennessee's largest selection and are the best value for new and used office furniture. Located in Knoxville, it's easy to find everything you need for your new space, including desks, file cabinets, chairs, conference tables, and more. Office Furniture Outfitters is turnkey. They came to my place, we mapped everything out that was needed, they delivered, and get this, set everything up. To learn more about what Office Furniture Outfitters can do for you, log on to ofonox.com. That's ofonox.com. If you're coming to Knoxville and need a place to stay, do yourself a favor and book a room at Hampton Inn Paper Mill, also known as the Hampton on the Hill. This award-winning property is literally in the top 5% of all Hampton Inn properties. The GM, Stephen Lawrence, is a good old local boy who grew up in the business around Knoxville. He and his staff are always available, always willing to help, and will go above and beyond for their guests. The newest Hampton Inn in Knoxville has clean, affordable rooms, flat screens, fridges, and microwaves in every room. Plus, breakfast is included in every rate. Not to mention, there's also a pool and fitness center on site. If it wasn't so close to amazing restaurants, bars, and shopping, you would never want to leave. At only 6 miles from campus, you're still right in where the big orange action is. Go to HamptonInn.com, search Knoxville, and book your room at the Hampton Inn Paper Mill, or call 865-693-5400. We're here with Dr. Michael Carlson of Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine to discuss PRP, platelet-rich plasma. If you have orthopedic injuries such as shoulder pain, knee pain, Achilles tendonitis, or tennis elbow, you should give them a call.
Good to be back, Jason. We specialize in non-surgical orthopedics, so we treat damaged tendons, ligaments, and joints, including rotator cuff injuries, knee injuries, and elbow and foot problems by using ultrasound-guided injections with PRP. And this form of treatment helps stimulate the body's own reparative process and assist in the healing of damaged tissue.
Doc, what makes your training different than others?
I've been practicing in Knoxville for over 26 years, and I'm certified in interventional regenerative orthopedic medicine through the American Academy of Orthopedic Medicine. They've been the leader in this form of treatment since 1983. I also teach this form of treatment on a national and international basis to other physicians, residents, and medical students. Here in our clinic, I'm the one doing the procedure, and we're using your own PRP, which are concentrated platelets, to treat your injury. So in other words, Jason, it comes from you and it goes back to you. So you know exactly what you're getting and know exactly the level of training involved.
Do what the pros, college athletes, and I have done, and visit them online at trsportsmedicine.com. Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine, East Tennessee's leader in PRP therapy. Fellas, when it's time to freshen up that wardrobe, there's only one play to make, and that's to go see my friends at Mark Nelson Denim in downtown Knoxville. Find the latest in small batch denim in the heart of Knoxville. Denim isn't all they do, though. Mark Nelson also does custom suiting and blazers. Let your personal style shine with Mark Nelson. If you don't have time to go shopping for yourself, but still want that fresh look, then sign up for the NN Society. Let the experts handle the shopping and get $300 worth of merchandise for just $150 every other month. That's 6 times per year to keep you looking styling every day. Let Mark Nelson Denim help you be the best you, because when you look good, you feel good. Go to marknelsondenim.com.
At Iris Networks, we know that business communication solutions are critical to your success. Since 1998, we've been helping businesses in East Tennessee by providing reliable and affordable high-speed fiber internet and voice solutions. That's why Iris Networks is your Tennessee communications partner. With internet speeds up to 100 gigs and work-from-anywhere solutions like mobile apps, video conferencing, and file sharing, we make sure you can stay connected to your customers and great communities we live and work in. Iris Networks, because just like you, Tennessee is our home.
America, 855-255-03. Hope you're having a great morning. It is time for Around the SEC. And, Ben, what do you have for us today?
Ace and I want to let you know about the quite interesting weekend of SEC football that we had. Swain, there were only 4 games, but each game had quite the storyline. What is Florida going to do with Dan Mullen, Swain? Because Georgia beat the brakes off of Florida 34-7.
Yeah, that's a really good question, man. That's a really good question. I know we're gonna talk. I got Florida here for touchdown turnover, but that is a really good question. Watching that game, it just to see 21 points go on the board for Georgia, and a few seconds made Florida look like a Vanderbilt-led offense out there. I mean, Florida was hanging tough, and then just self-inflicting penalties and mistakes put Florida in a bind. And another week where officiating is called differently in different games. Forward progress was not friendly to Richardson, Florida's quarterback, where Georgia was able to come in and rip the ball out and get a turnover. But Georgia's offense kind of struggled, except for the freebies given by Florida and great field position for Georgia. But yeah, man, Florida is supposed to have the quarterback guru at head coach, the head coach that's always supposed to have guys prepared on offense. Defense is a train wreck. So I don't know what Florida's going to do, but we'll talk about that here soon.
Auburn upset Ole Miss 31-20. Matt Corral dealing with an ankle injury. Did not look himself, just 21 of 37. Did throw for 289 yards, but did not throw for a touchdown. And threw 1 pick and only 45 rushing yards and a touchdown on 10 carries. So Auburn and Bo Nix, who was 22 of 30 for 276 and a touchdown, no turnovers. Tank Bigsby ran all over Ole Miss, 23 carries for 140 yards and a touchdown. Derek Mason's defense getting after Ole Miss's offense. Ole Miss a little banged up. Top 3 receivers out. Matt Corral banged up with an ankle injury, but still a really nice win for Auburn, Swain.
Excuse me. Is Auburn the 3rd best team in the SEC right now?
In the entire SEC?
In the entire SEC. Is Auburn the 3rd best team right now in the SEC?
I would say so, but I don't think that there's a bona fide 3rd best team in the SEC if that makes sense. I just think it's kind of a hodgepodge of a bunch of inconsistent football teams. You could make the case for Ole Miss. You could make the case for Texas A&M. You could obviously make the case for Auburn. Mississippi State 3-2 in league play, just like Ole Miss and A&M. All of a sudden, after State beats Kentucky and Ole Miss falls to Auburn, that Egg Bowl is going to be fun, man. So I would say so, but I think it'll change week to week. I don't think that there's going to be a consistently third best team in the SEC. I think it's just a bunch of teams after Alabama and Georgia.
Yeah, I mean that's the way it's been. That's the way it's been all season long. You have your top two in Alabama and Georgia; they are superior, and then you've had teams depending on the week and their performance jockeying for that third spot. And I think right now Auburn, behind the play of Bo Nix, behind the maturity of Bo Nix, he is taking the next step of being a leader and dynamic quarterback in this league. I think right now, man, Auburn is the third best team in the SEC. And just kudos to Brian Harsin, man. I mean, these first-year coaches have certainly done a good job. Harsin, Heupel, coaches with the last name H, starting with the H, they've done a good job, man. Maybe that's what it is. But that was a dang good game. And this week you'll hear a little announcement about what else I got going on and what I joined, what project I joined. A national show, digital national show, and we've been recording last week and starting production and stuff last week. But on this national show, we did picks, and I picked the Auburn Ole Miss game, and I picked Auburn to win. I felt like that Matt Corral was getting beat up week to week to week. Yes, Ole Miss was winning, but I felt like Matt Corral was getting beat up. He got beat up against Tennessee, came back into the game, and they barely escaped. He was really hobbled and banged up going into the LSU game. And then this week, sore, and then the ankle got him. I felt like at some point a defense was going to knock him out. Now, it wasn't like he got knocked out of the game with a shoulder or concussion or anything, but I felt like a defense was going to get to him and force him to leave the game, and that was the case. Now, he did come back. I think it only adds to his Heisman run. I thought what he did was show grit, toughness, and how valuable he really is to this Ole Miss football team. But I felt like Auburn would win, and they did. So it was a good weekend, man. It was a really good weekend, like you mentioned, for SEC football and for just college football altogether. Go ahead.
I do think Missouri and Vanderbilt set the sport back about a decade after Missouri beat Vanderbilt 37-28.
How did Vanderbilt score 28 points?
Missouri's defense.
Golly, man.
Missouri's defense, and I did not watch the game, but I was getting the score updates. I mean, that was a fairly close game for much of that game. It was 13-11. It looks like at halftime, 13-11. How is that even possible? Yeah, and Missouri scored late. Missouri was up 30-28 after a Vanderbilt touchdown, and then they scored a touchdown. Missouri did to make it 37-28, and then Vanderbilt threw an interception to end the game. Vanderbilt's Vanderbilt's quarterback, Mike Wright, had 152 rushing yards.
Wow. Yeah, Missouri has really fell off. They're probably –
yet they're getting 5-star receivers over Alabama and Ohio State.
Yeah, which I'm totally cool with. Good job, Missouri. Good job making that happen. But you look at Florida. You look at Missouri. I mean, those two teams probably fell off the worst. I mean, just fell off the wagon. And I'm not saying like Alabama, they're a team that won the national championship last year and lost a lot of talent. Like, yeah, they dropped off a little bit, but they're still good. I mean, like, Missouri had some momentum at the end of the season last year, and many of us thought that they would be better than what they are this year. And my goodness, have they not disappointed us? I mean, they have looked terrible. We knew Vanderbilt was going to be terrible. But Florida, the way they have fallen off, you put them in the same category. South Carolina, we kind of knew they would be bad, but goodness gracious, didn't know they would be this bad. But Mizzou and Florida, whew, they have really, really fallen off. Anything else for around the SEC?
No, sir.
Man, outside the SEC, that Michigan State game was epic. Quite frankly, it was epic. Michigan State gets the win. And talking to Greg McElroy yesterday on The Nation, he has Michigan State as his number 2 team in the country. Yep, he does. They're undefeated. They got a big win over Michigan, and you can put Cincinnati number 2, but Cincinnati, beat Notre Dame. That's their only win. Alabama has not beat anyone besides Ole Miss. Is kind of how he was looking at it.
How dare you? They beat Tennessee.
Sorry. But Michigan State, man,
I know Greg didn't admit that though.
Well, I mean, he was kind of throwing his own school under the bus. Alabama. I'm pretty sure Alabama fans will be unhappy with that, but he didn't have Alabama in his top 4 because he just felt like the other teams who were undefeated had better wins. Now, I think Alabama is one of the top 4 teams in the country, but that was his take, and I kind of understand it. But Michigan State made a statement, man. They made a statement over the weekend. Kenneth Walker Jr. or Kenneth Walker III, the Wake Forest transfer.
Memphis native.
That boy went crazy. And I think Jabbar Davis tweeted out that, man, this guy was just a 2-star coming out of high school.
Yeah, from Memphis.
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 He was a 2-star?
Mm-hmm. Sure was. From Arlington, Tennessee, which is pretty much Memphis, just north of Memphis.
He was the 143rd running back in the country, according to 247, 3-star composite, 2,164th player in the country, the 57th player in the state of Tennessee, and 2019 class. He committed to Wake Forest in December. Went to Wake Forest, did his thing, transferred to Michigan State, and look where he is now. I think he is the best running back right now in the country and should be the only running back in New York for the Heisman Trophy ceremony. The man had 190-something yards against Michigan and absolutely took over.
The question is, will Mel Tucker be at that Heisman ceremony in Michigan State green or LSU colors?
Ooh.
Because I'll tell you this. If I'm LSU and I look at Tennessee hiring Josh Heupel, and look, I recognize that it is still very early. There were points under Pruitt and Butch where we thought the future was very bright with those two as well. So I recognize that it's early, but it seems as if Tennessee is going to be fine under Josh Heupel. Same can be said for Brian Harsin at Auburn. And go back and look at the headlines and the talk around those two hires, because they weren't necessarily SEC guys. They were outside the footprint. How are they going to fit in at Tennessee? How are they going to fit in at Auburn?
Well,
Brian Harsin isn't an Auburn man. How's he going to fit in? And they look to be really two good hires. So if I'm LSU, I'm kind of looking at that. And although it may not be the James Franklin type of hire, or Jimbo Fisher, I think that gives me more confidence that Mel Tucker would do perfectly fine at LSU. I would be ecstatic if I'm an LSU fan and LSU hired Mel Tucker. I think he's really good.
Well, Mel Tucker spent time at Georgia.
Yes.
He's also spent some time under Nick Saban. I want to say he was at Alabama too. So he's familiar with the SEC footprint. The thing about Mel Tucker is this will be his third job in 4 years, which would be a bad look on him. But hey, you would understand if he left Michigan State for LSU. If I'm Michigan State, I'd dump the bag off on Mel Tucker. I mean, and if it wasn't for Kirby Smart and what he's done this year, I think Mel Tuck and Kirby Smart are the two front runners for National Coach of the Year. Look at what Michigan State did last year. They played 7 games last year, and they were 2-5, last in the Big Ten East. Right now, they are top 5 in the country and undefeated. What Mel Tucker has done, and he's killed it in the transfer portal. We know that he's gotten one player from Tennessee in Kavars Crouch who made a big time, 4th down stop on a punter botch handle on the snap, and the punter tried to run, and Kavars Crouch was there to stop it. But Crouch is a starter. He's been good for him. Kenneth Walker Jr. is a Wake Forest transfer. They killed it in the transfer portal. They have a corner that's from Alabama. So they've done a great job in the portal. So Mel Tucker has basically did what Heupel has done times 10. And he has his team right now playing for a chance to win the Big Ten. I mean, it's going to be between them and Ohio State coming up. So I did see that game, and, man, that was big. But it's going to be a coaching domino, man. I mean, you look at Lane Kiffin, it looks like he don't even want to coach the Ole Miss anymore by how much he goes for it on 4th down. Just a boneheaded move there. In the 4th quarter, they were down 2 scores. It was 4th down. Instead of kicking a field goal and playing defense, getting the ball back with a chance to win, he went for it on 4th down, didn't get it, and the game was over. Matt Corral's leaving this year, more than likely. Is Lane Kiffin even going to want to be at Ole Miss? You look at Miami, Ben, and Miami gets a big-time win on the road at Pittsburgh. Manny Diaz looked like he was on his way out. What happens there? Because if I'm Lane Kiffin, I want the Miami job. I think Miami job is a better fit for him than LSU, honestly. Because he coached there at FAU, and then all he has to do is just win in a weak ACC, and he could be the Dabo of the ACC. The road is a lot easier for a championship at Miami if he wins than LSU. But to get there, Miami is harder because no one cares about college football in Miami. We barely can flip the crowd.
And expectations are through the roof. They don't care about college football, but their expectations are through the roof.
Because of the talent down there. So, I mean, there's some things that Lane can work with there to be super successful. But I just don't think I don't think his heart and his head is in Oxford anymore, man. It doesn't look like it. And we'll see how much it's there once Matt Corral leaves, because that's his guy. That is his guy. So there's some good games, man, over the weekend. Just some good games. It was good as a Tennessee fan to kind of sit back and not have your heart rate go up and down throughout a football game, but just kind of sit back and watch everybody else play. And it was a good week. It was certainly a good week.
It was. I didn't get to watch as much football as I typically would like, because I was watching Tennessee baseball and spending time with family and watching the Grizz get embarrassed. But I did watch some NFL football. I did enjoy a bad Pittsburgh Steelers football team picking up a win. I just so proud of them for all that they had to overcome, being such a horrific football team, to get that win. And then obviously Carson Wentz just what are you doing, Carson Wentz? So nice to see the Titans win. It was a good weekend. Braves, we'll talk about them here in a minute when we get to Attaboy. But it was a good weekend. It was nice not to be stressed out, because I'll tell you one thing. I'll be stressed out come Saturday night.
Hey, I'm pumped, man. I great opportunity for Tennessee to get a top 20 win. Come on, Kentucky. We could have had a top 15 win if you were taking care of business. Now we got to call it a top 20 win. Do your job, Kentucky. You should have only one loss, and maybe you would have been ranked number 10. We could have had a top 10 win this weekend. But no, we got to call it a top 20 win because you let Mike Leach run circles around you. God, Kentucky is so selfish. Hour 2, Swain Event. Be right back. When I made the move to my own studio, I was worried about this. I was worried about that. I was worried about, hey, did I get this piece of equipment? Did I get that piece of equipment? Does that sound good? Does that not sound good? One thing I didn't have to worry about, that was office furniture, because Office Furniture Outfitters met my furniture needs. With a 50,000 square foot facility, they have East Tennessee's largest selection and are the best value for new and used office furniture. Located in Knoxville, it's easy to find everything you need for your new space, including desks, file cabinets, chairs, conference tables, and more. Office Furniture Outfitters is turnkey. They came to my place, we mapped everything out that was needed, they delivered, and get this, set everything up. To learn more about what Office Furniture Outfitters can do for you, log on to ofonox.com. That's ofonox.com.
Is that as low as you can go? Okay, thank you. Hello, is that as low as you can go? Okay, thank you.
What are you doing?
Calling around to get the best rate on a car loan.
Why? Everyone knows Alcoa 10 is the best choice to purchase a vehicle or refinance your current loan. And with low interest rates and 90 days to your first payment, it's a no-brainer. You can even apply online and sign all the documents from the convenience of your home.
Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking.
Alcoa 10 Credit Union. It's so easy. Go to atfcu.com for details. Rates are dependent on credit score and equal housing lender.
Good morning, Swain Event family. Several of you, like Ben McKee, have reached out to me for real estate assistance this year, and I want to say thank you. I appreciate your trust in me to ask questions and help you navigate the real estate world.
That's right, Jennifer. Buying a home is a scary process, especially for a first-time home buyer. Jennifer recently helped my wife and I buy our first home and made the entire process seamless. Her willingness to go above and beyond is what sets her apart.
As always, feel free to give me a call. Jennifer Morris, Keller Williams Realty, 865-257-7897, or email me at jennifermorris865@gmail.com.
Top 100 barbecue restaurant Dead End Barbecue is a no-brainer when you are craving the smoky flavor of quality Q. Dead End makes it easy to enjoy their fantastic menu with online ordering from Chow Now for pickup. Or if you don't feel like leaving the house, then have Dead End Barbecue delivered right to your door by Loco Knoxville or Bite Squad. Cheer on your favorite team with the best barbecue around. Check them out online at deadendbbq.com. Dead End Barbecue. The search is over.
Touchdown or turnover is backed by Alcoa 10 Federal Credit Union, a place where you belong.
Swain Event, SwainEvent.com, fueled by Dead End Barbecue, top 100 barbecue restaurant in America. Ben McKee, Jason Swain. Oh, I got one for you today, Ben. Got one for you today. Touchdown or turnover. Backed by Alcoa 10 Federal Credit Union, a place where you belong, better rates and better service. Dan Mullen, Florida's head coach, should be on the hot seat. Touchdown or turnover. Dan Mullen should be on the hot seat. Touchdown or turnover.
I say touchdown based off of the expectations at Florida. I think he is strongly underperforming. I just in every department I think he is just really underperforming. It starts on the recruiting trail. That has been a complaint there by fans and pointed out by media members since really Dan got there. His inability to recruit at the level that Florida should recruit to, and now you're starting to see it on the field. The personnel on defense, along with keeping Todd Grantham around as long as he has led to quite a bit of issues, and he's been too loyal to Emory Jones, which I don't hate as much as a lot of Florida fans hate, because I like being loyal to a guy that stuck it out in this new age of the transfer portal. So I appreciate that about Dan Mullen. But he has been too loyal to Emory Jones, and it's bitten him in the butt this season. Emory Jones just can't cut it. So I say yes. I don't think Dan Mullen is a bad coach whatsoever. I think Dan Mullen's one of the better coaches in college football, Swain. But based off of the expectations at Florida and the level he should be recruiting 2, and this is what, year 3, year 4, and you look like that against Georgia, you should absolutely be on the hot seat.
I mean, I'm going touchdown. I mean, you said it at the beginning, the expectations. Listen, man, Florida is 500 right now. The University of Florida is 500 after 8 games. This is not a team that's 500 after 2 games where you're 1-1. This is a team that is 500 at the beginning of November. They are 2-4 inside of the conference, and they have lost 2 in a row. Now, I would be a hypocrite if I sit here and said that Dan Mullen should have went with a different quarterback sooner and shouldn't have went with, Emory Jones. I think Dan Mullen has earned the right to make the decisions on quarterbacks. He's done a pretty dang good job in his last 10 years or more with quarterbacks. I think we saw why Emory was out there in front of Richardson for most of the season. I think Richardson playing against someone else instead of Georgia, the number 1 defense in the country, maybe we'll get a better picture. But I'm willing to give Dan Mullen the grace the same way that Josh Heupel gets that grace when he picked the quarterbacks to play for his team this year. So we'll see how the quarterback situation shakes out. But the point is they were not prepared after Kyle Trask. They were not prepared after Kyle Pitts and Kadarius Toney because they have not recruited at a high level. And you are at Florida, one of the top 5 jobs in America. You are in the state of Florida. Recruiting should be better. Right now, Florida's recruiting is sitting at 22 in the composite rankings. 22. The Florida Gators, the infamous Gator Chump, the program that rocks the Jordan brand. 22, according to 247 composite. Now, when I go over here to Rivals,
So in this instance, the Rivals rankings are your favorite?
Yes, Rivals are my favorite.
It has Florida ranked lower?
It looks worse. Florida right now, in the rankings according to Rivals, is worse than Tennessee. Tennessee's at 31. Florida's at 35. Teams ahead of Florida right now include Cincinnati, West Virginia, Baylor, Iowa State, Boston College, Stanford. This should never be the case.
And it's a year after Florida went to the SEC championship game, had a first-round tight end, a first-round receiver, one of the all-time great quarterbacks, at least statistically. This is what they are doing in recruiting after having a great year, in which technically they also underperformed in that great year.
I got another team that's ahead of Florida.
Vanderbilt.
No, ain't that bad.
Missouri.
Well, Vanderbilt's 39. Florida's 35. But here's a team.
Missouri.
Rutgers.
33.
Florida 35.
Where's Tennessee in those rankings?
31st.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it ain't good either.
I got to make sure we're ahead before I laugh too hard.
I said that. I made sure we laid that out first. That Tennessee is slightly ahead. It ain't good either. Both teams should be higher, but still, if you are Florida, you are in a much stable position in terms of your football program than Tennessee is, and you beat Tennessee. Let's make sure we point that out. I don't know who wins if they play right now, to be honest. Honestly, I do know. I think Tennessee would win if they play Florida today, but that's not the way it works.
I'd like to think that, but I would still believe it when I see it because nothing ever good happens to Tennessee when it plays Florida.
Hey man, Florida's playing bad
regardless
football
of
right
circumstance.
now. Florida's playing bad football right now. Florida's gotten worse. Tennessee has gotten better since the Florida game. I feel confident saying that. Now
I'm with you, but I'd have to see it to believe it.
I understand. No, I understand. But boy, yeah, I'm going touchdown, man. I think Dan Mullen should be on the hot seat, and that stinks. Here's a coach that had a dang good football team last year. That is one of the better coaches in the country. And if you're Florida, how can you really upgrade? Because there's a chance that you could make a change and completely fall off the wagon with the bad hire. Like Scott Frost going to Nebraska. Scott Frost at one point was the hottest name in the offseason, and he's in danger of being fired right now. So if you're Florida, the margin of error I think is super small. Who can you go out there and get that's better? That's better right now and can do a better job. Now
at this rate, I think anybody would be better.
I don't know. Anybody?
I get what you're saying, but
anybody?
Not literally anybody, but at this rate, with how Dan Mullen is recruiting and how he is underperforming on the field, at Florida, it would be very hard to hire somebody that is going to do worse, both in recruiting and by the results on the field.
I don't know, man. That 80-20,
I still think he's a fit.
The 80-20 rule is I won't say it's undefeated, but it sure has a really good batting average where you have 80%, but then you're trying to search for that other 20%, and you're in the pursuit of that other 20% to be 100%, and then you wind up with just 20%. And that's what Tennessee did when we decided to move from Coach Former. I understand, not being happy with the result on the football field, and I understand, wanting a fresh start. I get it. But Tennessee had 80%. But 80% just wasn't good enough. So we went out and said, all right, well, let's try to go find the other 20%. You try to do that with Lane Kiffin, didn't work, and here we are. So if you're Florida, you got 80%. You got a dang good football coach that develops quarterbacks. The problem is he just doesn't wow you on the recruiting front, and he's not getting players like he should be. So if you go out there and make a change, are you going to get 80% or more, or do you find yourself getting less than what you have with Dan Mullen? That's all I'm saying. And that's possible. That can happen. 865-255-03 live here from Beta Chevrolet. Over 150 pre-owned new vehicles to choose from. Home of the warranty for life on most new and used vehicles. Also, they will buy what you have. Motorcycle, boat, camper, car, truck, does not matter. They will buy your vehicle. You can also trade right here at Beta Chevrolet. So if you want to trade a car to upgrade to get a new car, you can do that. Listen, this is something that we did. We bought our last vehicle, my wife's car, from Beta Chevrolet. Had the great warranty, and the warranty came into play. We need to use our warranty. No money we had to put up for those repairs. So everything that I'm saying about Beta Chevrolet, we lived it in the last 2 or 3 months. We lived it ourselves. Great service, great people here at Beta Chevrolet. We'll take a quick time out, and we will be back after this.
At work, can't call in? Don't feel bad. You can talk to the guys on the text box. It's part of the free Swain Event app.
Top 100 barbecue restaurant Dead End Barbecue is a no-brainer when you are craving the smoky flavor of quality Q. Dead End makes it easy to enjoy their fantastic menu with online ordering from Chow Now for pickup. Or if you don't feel like leaving the house, then have Dead End Barbecue delivered right to your door by Loco Knoxville or Bite Squad. Cheer on your favorite team with the best barbecue around. Check them out online at deadendbbq.com. Dead End Barbecue. The search is over.
Litter is a big problem in Tennessee, but together we can do big things. We can make our cities, our waterways, our roads cleaner and safer. The Tennessee Department of Transportation is committed to reducing litter in our communities, but we need your help to do it. There are over 100 million pieces of litter in our roads at any given time, and it costs TDOT about $19 million a year just to clean it up. The first step to keeping Tennessee beautiful is to rally behind these 3 simple words. Nobody Trashes Tennessee. Join the Nobody Trashes Tennessee movement at nobodytrashestennessee.com. Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. Firms from Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham have stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local law firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. They are our neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help. JC's Tree and Landscaping Service specializes in quality tree work done at an affordable price. Trimming and removing trees are their specialty. They also offer other services like land clearing, stump grinding, crane services, and all of your basic landscaping needs for both commercial and residential. JC's will give you a free estimate and beat any written quote by a competitor to guarantee that you get the lowest price around. Don't risk your land with a fly-by-night service. JC's Tree and Landscaping is licensed and insured. Give them a call at 865-599-3799. Guys, your health right now is more important than ever. I recommend Low T Center. That's where I get my levels checked. It all starts with the annual wellness exam where they do a comprehensive health assessment exclusively for men, making it quick and easy to take care of your health. And now they offer monitored self-inject at-home testosterone treatment. Most insurance is accepted. Go to lowtcenter.com now to book your appointment and make your health a priority. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
I just wanted to come by and congratulate you on the great work you've been doing.
I like your style. You remind me of a young me.
Failure is not an option.
That boy is good.
Homes, remind yourself, nobody built like you. You design yourself.
Attaboy. Attaboy is brought to you by Made in Tennessee Business Fiber Internet from Iris Networks. Find business solutions for you at irisnetworksusa.com.
Bring on the positivity this morning. It's time for Attaboy, brought to you by Iris Networks. Your number one choice for fiber internet and voice businesses. 90 days, no payment for business internet. And Ben, man, I know you got some good Attaboys from over the weekend. A lot of good stuff happened.
I do. I have several Attaboys and Attagirls that I would like to give out, and we're going to start with an Attaboy and an Attagirl. The Attagirl goes to the Tennessee soccer team, who won the SEC East title last week.
Let's go.
Back-to-back SEC East champs. They have the most regular season wins in program history. And probably my favorite fact about this team, Swain, they didn't lose a home game this year. Undefeated at Regal Stadium. Very, very cool. And as a result of their very successful season, Brian Penske, the soccer coach here at Tennessee, was named the SEC Coach of the Year. So shout out to Brian Penske. Those who are familiar with the soccer program are very aware of Brian Penske. He is beloved over there on campus and by those who follow the soccer team. He's really awesome. He's just like Tony Vitello, not in terms of, same personality per se, but just in terms of being a fan favorite. People love Brian Penske. His players love him, and fits in well with Tony V and the Weekleys, or I guess just now Karen Weekly, now that Ralph has retired, and Rick Barnes and Kelly Harper. He fits in really well. And then you had 6, including Coach Penske, earn postseason honors as well. Mackenzie George was first team All-SEC. Taylor Huff was the SEC Freshman of the Year, named to the second team All-SEC and to the SEC All-Freshman team. Jada Thomas, second team All-SEC. Ren French, second team All-SEC. Jordan Fusco, SEC All-Freshman team. And Claire Rain, SEC All-Freshman team. So shout out to Tennessee Soccer school, baby. Or you know what we are? We're an athletic school. We dominate. That's all you need to know about Tennessee. We dominate on the field.
We everything but football school right now.
Yes, we are. And then how can you not give the freaking Atlanta Braves an attaboy? The Braves won
They lost yesterday,
game away from winning a World Series. Yes, Wayne, they did lose last night.
You jinxing the Braves, Ben.
No.
I think you're doing it on purpose, too.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are, man. You ain't slick.
No.
I don't trust you.
When the Braves added my good friend Kyle Wright to the Braves World Series roster, I was all in on the Braves winning a World Series just so that he can get a World Series ring. But the last time that we spoke about the Braves here on the show, it was Thursday, Friday, and the Braves had a 1-1, or the series was tied at 1-1. And since then, over the weekend, the Braves went 2-1, won Friday night 2-0, won Saturday night 3-2, and then did lose last night 9-5. But Braves are still up 3-2, heading back to Houston. They'll play Tuesday night at 8:00. That'll be Game 6. The Braves will try to close things out then. If the Astros force Game 7, that'll be Wednesday night at 8:00. But just a huge attaboy to the Braves and Braves fans as well. Seeing Truist Park this weekend was really, really cool. Just an awesome atmosphere and if you saw on social media, really before the game started, out in the Battery and around the stadium, just jam-packed, full of energy, people getting loud before they can even get in the game, and then you get into the game, and there wasn't an empty seat in the entire place, and that's a big old stadium that sits a lot of people, and it was loud in there, so the atmosphere looked really cool. And I got to single out my guy Kyle, who came in Saturday night and saved the Braves' rear end. Absolutely saved the Braves' rear end. The Braves went with a bullpen piece to start the game, and said piece could not get the job done at the beginning. But Kyle Wright comes in with the bases loaded to save Mr. Dylan Lee's rear end, and he gets the Braves out of the jam. Only gave up one run, and that wasn't his fault. That was a run he inherited. And on the play that the Astros scored on, it was a little weak ground ball that the Astros got lucky on to score a run, and did give up a home run to Jose Altuve, but pitched 4.2 innings, 1 earned run, 5 hits, 3 strikeouts, 75 pitches to get the Braves back on track that game. And I will forever say, if the Braves win the World Series, they won the 2021 World Series because of Kyle Wright. Buckhorn's own, Huntsville's own. He came in and he saved that game from the Astros tying the series up. And when the Braves win one of these next 2 games, it'll be because Kyle Wright saved the day in Game 4. So that was a really cool moment. It was really cool to see my Twitter feed, my Facebook feed, just light up with shout-outs to Kyle. A lot of people in Huntsville and a lot of people at Buckhorn are very happy for Kyle. I'm very happy for him. He's a really good pitcher, obviously, but he's a 10,000 times better person and deserves every bit of success. So that was really cool to watch on Saturday night.
You're jinxing the Braves, man. That's why I'm over here knocking on wood. Can you hear that? Can you hear me knocking on the wood right now?
No, you need to knock louder. There we go.
Knuckles hurt.
I'm not gonna knock too loud to get Ace going.
Oh no, he probably asleep. This is his sleepy time. But this is an Atlanta sports team we're talking about here, Ben. Yeah, you over here giving them an attaboy. And it's not over yet.
Last series, they were able to handle the Dodgers.
Man, it's a little different now when it's 3-2. It's one thing to be up 3-1. One game, and we're talking about a Game 7. This is a must-win for the Braves. This is where booties get a little tight, palms get a little sweaty.
Mm-hmm. Now look, I'm not I do want the Braves to win, but looking from the outside, looking in, as somebody whose team is not playing, I would. There is a little nervousness in the sense of if I'm the Braves, you probably should have closed out things last night because you did not want to go back to Houston. And I still think the Braves will win one of the two. The Astros bullpen is taxed after now 2 games that they've had to practically go all out on its bullpen, and last night needed the bullpen to be absolutely perfect after that early Adam Duvall grand slam. So the Astros bullpen is taxed, but so is the Braves to a certain extent. So I still think the Braves pull it out, Swain, but Houston becomes a madhouse, and I think it's going to be really difficult to close it out. I think that they will, but that place, I've seen my Yankees, good Yankees teams, go in there and just nothing go its way. Nothing goes the Yankees' way when they play in Houston, and it's not just a Yankees thing. It's a baseball thing because obviously they're a bunch of coward cheaters over there in Houston, little stupid little Jose Altuve cheating left and right, having buzzers on his chest that buzz him to tell him what pitch is coming. You little bumming me bum face. Why don't you go do something that doesn't involve cheating? But I think the Braves close it out, but I'd be very nervous going back to Houston.
Should be. Let's see here. What's on the text box? The trusty text box. Let's see here. Smoky Tennessee says Stoops has his coaches handcuffed. JD says, so you're saying our DBs are licking their chops like Evans was against Mizzou's defense? They should be. They should be. After watching the Mississippi State-Kentucky game. Is there a way to find out what Josh Heupel's record is coming off a bye? We'll have to do some searching there, do some research from his time at Central Florida. I think this is a different circumstance, though. I mean, those guys barely practiced last week because they were so beat up and depth is so thin. So I don't know how much you will gain, how much the information will tell you about what Josh Heupel is going to do after this bye week, because these guys just needed to rest, and they did that. Let's go to the phones, and let's get to Daytona, then we'll go back to the text box. Daytona, good morning.
Morning, guys.
Good morning.
So it's good to be back in the good old USA. Wanted to talk a little bit about the Braves. Ben was talking about the Braves, and they're doing this on top of losing probably their best pitcher in game 1 to a broken leg.
Yep.
And I'll tell you what, it's pretty impressive what they're doing. They're a no-name pitching staff. They have no viable big-name starter. And I'm a little concerned with how the managers handle things. The past 2 games, these guys that he's bringing in to basically emergency start, he's letting them know like at 11 o'clock that morning that they're starting. But very excited for the Braves. They're doing well. I didn't get to see anything Tennessee while I was gone. I didn't get to see the Alabama game. I didn't get to see the baseball game. I didn't get to see the basketball game. So a little behind on things. But who was that last week, Swain, when I called in that actually gave me props? Was that DR Vol or was that Vol Nation? Volstorm?
I think it was Volstorm, wasn't it, Swain?
Sure.
Sure. Swain,
I'm pretty sure it was Volstorm. Maybe I'm like 93% sure it was Volstorm.
Oh, okay. I did catch that. I had crappy service, but
we should frame it, Daytona, because some of the callers have been very mean to you. So we should frame that compliment and hold it near and dear to our hearts.
Yeah, I do hold it near and dear to my heart, Mr. Instigator. I was feeling pretty good and, talking about a compliment, and then you had to bring up all the other callers talking crap. Oh, Swain, I love you, buddy. You're a complete mess. I've really enjoyed listening to the former cornerback. Who was that? Wade?
Mm-hmm. Jonathan Wade.
Yeah, I really, really, really enjoyed that show. He pretty much had you pegged from the beginning. I think he called you slow, and sometimes you had good hands. Basically, was the content.
I didn't hear that part.
You didn't?
No, I didn't hear that. No, I didn't. I didn't hear that.
You hear any of that, Ben?
No, I was asleep.
All right. Well, I'm just rambling because I haven't had too many opportunities to call you guys. Steelers looked well. What's your Bears do, Ben? Swain?
They lost like I thought they would.
Okay. I just got back, so I don't even know. But I think we play y'all next Monday night.
Yep. It'll be a slop fest.
And then we play the Lions after that.
Oh, that's an easy win.
We can get some revenge on Triple O. Isn't that right, Dave Tona?
I'm not even mentioning that game, Ben.
I actually think the Lions are going to go 0-17.
I'm not even commenting on that, Ben.
I was just speaking out to the universe. Don't you think that the Lions are going to go 0-17, Swain?
Dude.
Hope you have a great day, Dave Tona.
Thank you, Dave Tona. Man, one of the picks that I made in the NFL that I am so proud of is my Philadelphia Eagles pick, because all the analysts on ESPN, they thought that the Lions would get their first win of the season against the Eagles because Jalen Hurts was struggling. The Eagles coach did some Butch Jones type of press conference talking about how the root is spreading at the bottom of the soil and all this other stuff. It was Butch-esque, Dooley-esque. And they thought that the Eagles would lose to the Lions. And all that the Eagles did was spank the Lions. How do you get beat that bad? Triple O. How did your team get beat 44-6? How does that happen? The Eagles beat the Lions like the Lions were a Conference USA team. They beat the Lions like they were Vanderbilt. They beat the Lions like they were freaking Louisiana Tech State, Monroe, Tulane Tech State Institute, Sisters of the Poor. Like, how do you get beat that bad by the Eagles? So, yeah, man, Lions are probably going to go defeated this year. It's probably going to happen.
I bet you picked the Browns, though.
The Browns? Oh, I did pick the Browns. I thought the Browns would win.
I know.
Yep. Yeah, I didn't trust the pass rush. Excuse me, I didn't trust the pass protection against the Browns' defensive front. But they got it done, man. They made a way. They found a way to win.
Well, I'm just fully expecting the Steelers to lose to the Lions because that's the type of stuff that happens to me.
What about the Bears?
Sports. I fully expect them to lose to the Bears as well.
Yeah, right. 865-255-03. Irish Networks hotline. Let me get back to the text box. Tremel says, teams start to figure you out game by game, right? Each game a coach takes something away, so it's to the point where they may have reached their ceiling talking about Kentucky. Here's the thing about Kentucky versus Tennessee when it comes to the adjustments that are made during the season. I think for teams to figure out Tennessee, it's going to take an off season. It's going to take recruiting faster guys on defense. It's going to take that off season for that defensive staff to prepare for Josh Heupel. You can't prepare for Josh Heupel in Heupel's first season during the season. For Kentucky, you can prepare for Kentucky week to week during the season. This is what Mississippi State did. If you heard the show on Friday, there's something that Jonathan Wade and I talked about is, all right, what's going to happen in year 2 and year 3 for Josh Heupel? How will he continue to be effective on offense with this up-tempo system? Wade is he's not skeptical, but he's a little cautious about this offensive philosophy. He is, and the effects that it has on the defense, and can it work long term? That's fair. 865-255-03, Beatty Chevrolet and BeattyChevrolet.com. Be right back.
While the other guys are taking guesses, the Swain Event is taking you behind the scenes and in the huddle every morning from 7 till 10 right here.
When you start your own business, you know that branding can make or break a new venture. That's why Swain Event relies on 42nd Street. 42nd Street is a strategy agency focused on finding creative, open-minded, results-driven solutions to brand design. After over a decade of operations in East Tennessee, the brand architects at 42nd Street have the experience and creative know-how to ensure the success of your business branding, logo, web presence, and more. To see a real-life example of their amazing work, you can check out our website at swainevent.com. Don't trust the branding of your business to just anyone. Check out my friends at 42nd Street online at 42st.com or give them a call at 865-382-7007. 42nd Street, brand, strategy, design.
More and more Tennessee businesses are switching to Iris Networks for reliable, local, high-quality, high-speed business fiber internet. Iris provides direct internet access from 10 megs to 10 gigs with no payments for 90 days. Iris also offers next-generation business phones with work from anywhere capability from the mobile or laptop app. With local sales, support, and service, Iris is a partner in the community. Learn more at irisnetworkusa.com or call 865-448-IRIS. Iris Networks, a Tennessee business connecting Tennessee businesses.
Fellas, when it's time to freshen up that wardrobe, there's only one play to make, and that's to go see my friends at Mark Nelson Denim in downtown Knoxville. Find the latest in small batch denim in the heart of Knoxville. Denim isn't all they do, though. Mark Nelson also does custom suiting and blazers. Let your personal style shine with Mark Nelson. If you don't have time to go shopping for yourself but still want that fresh look, then sign up for the NN Society. Let the experts handle the shopping and get $300 worth of merchandise for just $150 every other month. That's 6 times per year to keep you looking styling every day. Let Mark Nelson Denim help you be the best you, because when you look good, you feel good. Go to marknelsondenim.com. Litter is a big problem in Tennessee, but together we can do big things. We can make our cities, our waterways, our roads cleaner and safer. The Tennessee Department of Transportation is committed to reducing litter in our communities, but we need your help to do it. There are over 100 million pieces of litter in our roads at any given time, and it costs TDOT about $19 million a year just to clean it up. The first step to keeping Tennessee beautiful is to rally behind these 3 simple words. Nobody trashes Tennessee. Join the Nobody Trashes Tennessee movement at nobodytrashestennessee.com.
Hey there, Swain Event listeners. I'm excited to share my new Keller Williams Realty app so you can tour homes without leaving yours. Not only can you search for homes in specific areas and neighborhoods, you can also have access to real-time market snapshots on stats like average home price and days on market, plus commute times from your office, school zones, and much more. Download my app today and get the most accurate information on buying, selling, and investing in real estate in your area. Just search for the Keller Williams Realty app and click on More in the lower right-hand corner. Type in Jennifer Morris in the Your Agent search bar, then save and you're set. And as always, feel free to reach out at 865-257-7897 or email me at jennifermorris865@gmail.com.
You don't have to take an L just because you can't listen to the Swain Event live. You can catch up on the podcast posted daily on the app, online, and on iTunes.
Oh, boy. There is some smoke in the city. Down there in TCU land is Gary Patterson is out as the head coach, effective immediately. So TCU has a opening, and that's a good job right there. They've made updates to their facilities. They have invested in football. That is a good job for an up-and-coming coach or, hey, a proven coach. Maybe Dan Mullen goes there after getting canned from Florida. Just kidding. I don't know. But TCU is a good job. So that job is now open along with LSU is open. We'll see what happens with Nebraska. We'll see what happens around the country, but that is a good job. Let's get to the phones. The Iris Networks hotline, 865-255-03. Let's bring in D.R. Vol. D.R. Vol, good morning.
Guys, I'm calling in because I'm wanting y'all to talk me down from the ledge.
Jump.
Okay.
Jump.
I'm overly.
Go ahead and jump in.
I'm overly positive about this Kentucky game.
Oh yeah, go ahead and jump, man. You don't need a parachute.
Okay. Well, I'm trying to be cautious about it because I don't want to set myself up for heartbreak like the last few years. But my God, they look. What does it say? Butt booty terrible. They look terrible against Mississippi State.
Butt booty. I mean, listen. Kentucky is capable of beating Tennessee. I'm not going into this game like I was confident, like I was against Mizzou or anything. But the matchups are just really in Tennessee's favor. And Tennessee will have to play a game like they played against Pittsburgh, I think, to lose this game. If Tennessee plays the way they have been playing for the last month, I think they win. But anything is possible. You never know. I mean, you gain health because of the bye week, but you may lose the chemistry. You may lose the tempo. You may lose the efficiency that you have gained over the last couple of weeks. So we just never know, man. College football is weird. Football itself is weird. Like, it is weird. The Jets beat the freaking Bengals this weekend.
Love to see it.
Yeah, it's just weird. I mean, anything can happen. So you always have to keep that in the back of your mind, D.R. Vol. I wouldn't go too crazy, but Tennessee certainly has a lot of matchups in their favor. I think this is why this game is only at -4 for Kentucky. I mean, the home team gets 3, and right now it's at -4.
So you think as long as they don't play like they did against Pittsburgh?
Yeah, Pittsburgh had all kind of penalties and turnovers.
So what you're saying is don't play Joe Milton?
Yeah, pretty much. And the penalties,
which would be a repeat of last year.
The penalties, man.
I mean, remember what happened last year.
Yeah, I still maintain. I don't care what anybody says. JG single-handedly lost that football game for Tennessee.
I agree.
Listen, man, Joe Milton didn't do anything today. JG and Joe Milton didn't do anything. Y'all leave him alone today.
Well, you brought it up by mentioning the Pittsburgh game. Thankfully, Joe Milton won't be playing.
I was talking about everything. The penalties, too. Tennessee had over 130 yards of penalty yards.
Because of him.
No, it wasn't just because of him.
Yes. He had the jujus and the vibes all sideways.
No.
He affected the entire team.
This is why I love this show. I call in positive. Now I'm just pissed off thinking about the Kentucky game last year. I really appreciate it, Ben.
You're welcome.
That's 2 games we threw away because of terrible quarterback play.
I don't want to think about it.
I
don't know what's worse. I don't know what's worse, watching last year's performance because of one player, or going to Lexington in 2017 and watching Tennessee lose to Kentucky because Jeff George caught a freaking Hail Mary at the 2-yard line. Who catches a Hail Mary at the 2-yard line? Just drop it. All you got to do is piss me off and piss everybody else off because you caught it, but you were 6 feet short from the end zone. Just drop it if you're going to catch it at the 2-yard line.
Don't create that narrative. The Pittsburgh game was not on Joe Milton. If the penalty yards were good and you still lost, then that's another thing. But that ain't fair to Joe. He was part of the reason, but he wasn't the reason.
No, I wasn't. He was a big reason there for a minute, because if you hit on those wide open throws you had down the field, not that it was all him, but
it wasn't all him.
You probably beat beat Pittsburgh, but he did play a big role in it. Now, the defense had a horrific second quarter. Gave up, 27 points in that second quarter.
They lost as a team.
They did, but
some folks can't handle jokes. Some folks listening can't handle jokes.
Played the entire game.
Some folks listening can't handle jokes. So we want to make sure that after the jokes that we come back with with some honesty and some for realness here and say that it was a team L, not just Joe Milton.
Led by Joe Milton.
Whatever.
So Ben, do you think talking about Jeff George and 2 yards short, do you think that would be Milton's go-to receiver? We know how he likes to run out of bounds with 3 seconds left.
No Shut comment. Up, DR Vol. You're going to have Joe Milton on your show soon and be sucking up to him anyway.
And I'll ask him about it. I have proven I'll ask him about it.
I will say that about DR Vol. I was messing with him during his show when they were interviewing Brian Maurer, and he did ask Brian Maurer the questions that I was joking with him about.
That's right. We'll give you that, DR Vol.
Got to have something going for me, guys. Well, I appreciate it. I'm not at the ledge now. I'm just pissed off thinking about all these games that thrown away over the years. So I really appreciate it.
Thanks to Negavolve, Ben.
Yeah, thanks to Ben.
You're the one
all right, guys.
Y'all
have a good day.
He blew it last year first.
Blew what game?
Diarval is the one that mentioned last year's game first.
Yeah, well,
so he brought that on himself.
Listen, I said that if Tennessee plays the way they have been playing the last month or so, that they should win. And if they avoid a performance like they had against Pittsburgh, where you had the turnovers and you had the penalties against you, I think that would be the only reason why Tennessee loses this game. Got to take care of the football, and you can't beat yourself with pre-snap penalties. Florida got themselves in trouble, and they had over 100 yards in penalties. Tennessee can't allow that to be the case. So whatever we have to do to make sure that the noise is not a problem, because, yes, they don't have 100,000 people, but that stadium gets loud. It's small now. It's small. Kind of like the self-checkout in Kroger. But it's loud. It gets loud too. So got to make sure you can't let the noise be a problem for you up there.
Mighty Kroger Field.
Josh in Virginia says, do you think Tucker would have been a good fit here when we hired Pruitt? Yeah, man. I hope this don't make people mad because we got Josh Heupel, okay? So it should be okay. We've got Josh Heupel. We have a good head coach. At least it looks that way right now, and we hope it continues to look that way. You always got to keep your cup on, and you got to have your head on the swivel. But right now, Josh Heupel is getting it done and looks like he's going to be just fine here at Tennessee. But to answer Josh's question, it was between Kevin Steele and Mel Tucker. And then Jerry Pruitt just got this momentum out of nowhere. And then he was hired. So, yeah, Mel Tucker would have been good because look what he's doing right now with the resources. He is doing a really good job. And, watching that Michigan State game, he said that they're going to win because his team is tougher, his players are tougher, and it's going to be a heavyweight bout, and it's going to be about the team that flinches at the end. And he called it. Michigan flinched, and Michigan State won. And Michigan State fans flipped over a truck, SUV, and destroyed it and burned couches. So I want to see that same energy. National media talking about those fans. I want to see the same energy. Not saying justifying what happened with Tennessee because Tennessee fans were wrong, but I want to see some of that same energy. I want to see some of those same articles talking about fan behavior. That's all.
You won't.
No. Ben, I went back and watched Tennessee up against Lenore Ryan in the exhibition game. And I know it's just Lenore Ryan. But, man, Kennedy Chandler, that boy is a stud. The game looks so slow to him. And he's a true freshman playing in his first basketball game. And I know it really wasn't a real basketball game. But, man, he can shoot it. He can drive it. He can finish around the rim with both hands. Oh, my goodness. Man, this team is so much different with speed at point guard, and he's not the only guy with speed at point guard because you got Zakai Ziegler coming in, Lil Z coming in, and he can shoot it too. He's tough as nails, and he's clutch. He got a little bit of that Lamonte Turner gene. Hey, man. Hey, man, this basketball team going to be fun to watch.
Yes, there are so many guys to talk about from Saturday's exhibition. Kennedy looked awesome. Zakai Ziegler, he's going to take some fine-tuning. You can see that he's raw, but you can also see why the staff liked him, and I thought he looked pretty good. And it's going to be nice to have two true point guards on this basketball team. And we'll see how it plays out with both of them being true freshmen. That makes me a little bit nervous. But did you catch on the broadcast where I forgot his name off the top of my head. The guy that was doing who Roger was doing the game with, Steve Hamer?
Yeah, Hamer.
He said that Rick Barnes mentioned to them that he wasn't afraid to put Zakai Ziegler out there in crunch time with a ball in his hands.
Oh, I know.
Did you
Clutch
catch that on the broadcast?
Yeah, I heard that. Clutch gene like Lamonte Turner. That's why I said it, yeah.
Yep. So I'm nervous about having two freshman point guard out there, but it seems like Tennessee got the in terms of being able to take care of the ball in pressure situations, seems like they've got the two best true freshmen to do so. But the thing that stood out to me the most, Swain, was Santiago Vescovi. He just looks different running up and down the court. You can tell that he's slimmed down.
Yep.
You can tell that he's quicker. He's more decisive. He's not thinking. He looks awesome. The only thing that was concerning was his shot. He didn't get very many to fall. But in terms of creating for everybody else, I think he's going to be a real problem for the SEC.
I ain't concerned about Vescovi's shot. That's going to be there.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just saying if there is one thing to ding him on during the exhibition, it was that he couldn't get his shot to fall. But he looked awesome creating for his teammates. He was able to stay in front of some defenders, which has not been the case in the past. And, again, it's Lenore Ryan. We'll see how he does in the upcoming games that count. But he looked awesome. Brandon Huntley-Hatfield looked really good. Justin Powell, boy, that stroke. You see that stroke, Swain?
Mm-hmm.
It was nothing but water.
Bottoms.
It was.
You missing something,
net.
though, Ben. You missing something.
What's a long list of things? Josiah Jordan-James looked good.
His shot.
Victor Bailey Jr.
Shot is improved. Josiah's shot. It's been tweaked. His confidence is high. Shooting it. He's not hesitating at all. He's letting it fly. There were some times where I was like, "Dang, Josiah, you gonna pass it?" Like he was letting it fly. So this team that struggled shooting the ball from the outside, Rick Barnes addressed that very well, very well this offseason. Their shooters all over the place now. I mean, you talk about Justin Powell, Vescovi, Kenyon Chandler can shoot it. Josiah Jordan-James can shoot it. Did I mention Justin Powell already? Zakai Ziegler can shoot it. We got some guys that can fill it up. Did I mention Vescovi already? We got some guys that can fill it up.
And here's the other thing. Olivier Camwa can shoot it.
He stepped out, yeah.
He's not going to shoot it a ton, but it's going to be very similar to Kyle Alexander, Kyle's senior year, where he's kind of that trailing big, and if the defense is sagging off, he's going to bust it. He's going to pull it, and he's going to make it more often than he's going to miss it. And I actually think he'll shoot more threes than Kyle did. He's still not going to be a volume shooter, but I would imagine, I don't know off the top of my head, but I would think that Kyle Alexander probably took 20 to 30 threes that year. I think Olivier will be somewhere around 40 to 45, maybe into 50. And I'm comfortable with him taking those shots if it's a good open three, because he's got a pretty stroke.
No, it is. He got a nice stroke.
And aside from the three, I thought Olivier looked really good. He's showing off the athleticism. He looks comfortable in the post. That's what's most noticeable to me, and I've seen that in practice. He actually brought it up on his own to me when I was talking to him last week at Tennessee Media Day that he feels like that's where he's improved the most, where he's not in his head anymore. And you've talked about this at length with Olivier, that in the past when he's caught the ball in the post, it's like he didn't know what to do with it. Do I shoot it? Do I make a move? Do I pass it? What do I do?
Something.
He would freak out and he would turn the ball over as a result. And now, at least in the exhibition, I see it in practice, he catches the ball in the post and he's not thinking. He either immediately keeps the ball moving or he immediately goes into a post move, and I think he's going to have a really strong season.
Kyle shot 7 threes his last year. 7.
Really?
Yep, he was 3 for 7 at 43%. Which is
why does it feel like he took more than 7?
Because he took that top of the key jumper, just wasn't behind the 3.
Huh?
But he'd take those.
Well, I definitely think Olivier is going to shoot more threes than Kyle did. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think Olivier will take 2 a game.
I don't know.
I think he will, because Rick even pointed out that Olivier can make it from deep and has really improved his shot. So to me, if Rick's pointing it out, then it's maybe something that they want him to do as well.
Our research department team, a.k.a. Nathaniel Rutherford, Josh Heupel's record after a bye is 4-1. The only loss was to Memphis, 50-49 last season, according to Nathaniel Rutherford. So, thank you, Nathaniel.
Nathaniel said it. You can take it to the bank.
That's right. When it comes to getting those stats, Nate Dogg got us taken care of. Uros. That's right. Uros with the steal, dribbling the peel, and the dunk was ill. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, we're going to break right now.
Woo-hoo. Hey man, this is what I do, man. That's what I do. I just bust dope beats, dope rhymes. That's what I do. That's what I do.
All you just did was embarrass yourself.
Uros getting it done. Swain Event, be right back.
Hour 3 of the Swain Event is brought to you by the Low T Center and lowtcenter.com. Do you know your numbers? Feel like you again. Let us help.
Guys, your health right now is more important than ever. I recommend Low T Center. That's where I get my levels checked. It all starts with the annual wellness exam, where they do a comprehensive health assessment exclusively for men, making it quick and easy to take care of your health. And now they offer monitored self-inject at-home testosterone treatment. Most insurance is accepted. Go to lowtcenter.com now to book your appointment and make your health a priority. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
At Iris Networks, we know that business communication solutions are critical to your success. Since 1998, we've been helping businesses in East Tennessee by providing reliable and affordable high-speed fiber internet and voice solutions. That's why Iris Networks is your Tennessee communications partner. With internet speeds up to 100 gigs and work-from-anywhere solutions like mobile apps, video conferencing, and file sharing, we make sure you can stay connected to your customers and great communities we live and work in. Iris Networks, because just like you, Tennessee is our home.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. Firms from Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham have stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local law firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. They are our neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm,
Let us help. Hour 3 of the Swain Event is brought to you by the Low T Center and lowtcenter.com. Do you know your numbers? Feel like you again. Let us help.
Live here at Beatty Chevrolet Parkside Drive. Over 150 vehicles for you to choose from, used and new. They will trade for anything. They will buy anything as well here at Beatty Chevrolet. Their website is BeattyChevrolet.com. 865-255-03 is our telephone number. Hope you're having a great morning. Today will be a great day to get on down to your county clerk and get yourself a Tennessee license plate. It is available. County clerk locations all over the state. Your purchase will go to support student scholarships at UT for UT students. $15 of the $35 annual specialty plate fee will go to support those students and scholarships. Go to alumni.utk.edu/license plate. As for the KA plate, which stands for Knoxville Alumni. Ben, anybody on the phones there?
No, sir.
Man, y'all hating on my rhymes on the text box.
They were trash.
Orange Arc says Uros would have tried to hop in and give you the next bars because he's the best teammate in college basketball. Oh, I was watching him be the best college teammate. His high fives was on point. His butt taps on the mark. His cheering, second to none. His motivation, legendary. Best teammate in college basketball, and it's not even close. It's so good that it kind of rubbed off on Folky a little bit on the sideline. He was out with the wrist. It rubbed off on him. Not quite as good as Uros Folky. You know, you got to work on your teammating. But Uros, by far, best teammate in college basketball. Z Hamilton is Tennessee Prime football only. Will y'all have basketball players on it? Well, basketball has not even been discussed for Tennessee Prime. So, take that.
Why do you hate the basketball team?
I don't. I actually love them.
Sounds like you do.
No. Doesn't sound like we don't have Tennessee Prime for basketball. That's all it sounds like to me. Got more guys to be able to do it in football. Come out each and every week. Tomorrow it'll be the Mays brothers. The first time we had the Mays brothers is because Mays brother had to fill in for a skill position player that was set to join us, but had to back out the last minute. So Cooper came in to save the day. This show tomorrow is scheduled for those two, the Mays brothers. So that will be for tomorrow.
Are you going to ask Cade if he's going to play against Kentucky?
I'm not going to ask him that at all.
Why not?
I would imagine that these guys only have 4 games left to play together, that Cade would find a way to play. That's my guess.
So you're saying Cade's leaving at the end of the year?
I'm saying that these are the 4 games that these guys have to play together. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Jay Dobbs says, hey, guys, hope all is well. I have a daughter I'm trying to mold into a Tennessee fan. Mom is a Georgia fan, and she has been on Mom's side for a while with football and wanting to go to Georgia. She is a soccer player, and we've been keeping up with Tennessee women's soccer. We took her up to the Tennessee-Georgia game, and she fell in love with Tennessee. She wants to be a livestock veterinarian, so we took her by the large animal hospital on the way to the stadium. I am looking for one of the checkered women's soccer jerseys, and I can't find them anywhere. Can you point me in the right direction? Hey, folks, let's help Dobbs. go in the right direction to get a women's soccer jersey that is checkered. Please hit me up on the text box, send me a tweet, whatever, and then I will send that link or where to go to J Dobbs' email here that's listed. So we gotta help out our family here. Other McKee says Justin Powell's shot is so fast. Man, it is beautiful. And he can shoot over guys because he's 6'6". Ooh, I can't wait to SEC play. Can't wait to these non-conference big-time games. I can't wait to the Memphis game. Where Memphis at? Come on, Memphis. Let's go. That's going to be a good one. Brent in Dallas says, is K going to host the basketball version of Tennessee Prime as well? Nah, I think K going to be busy during basketball season.
Doing what?
Football stuff.
For next year's football team?
Yep. Next year's football team.
Tennessee football team?
Next year's football team.
The Washington football team?
Whatever football team he's playing on next year. He'll be doing work for that. ATL VFL says, didn't Mel Tucker leave Colorado after a year? Probably would have done that to us. I don't think so. But, yes, he did leave after a year at Colorado. And if he would leave this year, this would be 3 jobs in 4 years. So, hard to turn down a SEC job like LSU or something like that if they come calling. But, hey, man, whew, that would be a lot of moving. A lot of moving. Nick Saban did it. Who was a northern guy, even though he's from West Virginia. So West Virginia is such a southern type of state with snow. So it worked out. It worked out for Nick. I think it will work out for Mel Tucker. I think he can do just fine here in the SEC because he's coached here as an assistant many years. Ben Hall says, any updates on the health of Tyon Evans and the Mays brothers? No update. At this moment, Josh Heupel will talk to the media, I'm assuming today, Ben, since it is Monday.
Yep. At 12 o'clock or 12:15, something like that.
Scott Williamson. Dang, Swain. Daytona says, love you, Swain. And it was crickets. It's like that awkward moment when a dude tells a girl, I love you, and you get no response. My bad, Daytona. My bad. I hit Daytona with the ditto. He's trying to throw shade, man. He can't be throwing shade and then try to say I love you to smooth it over. With TCU job open and Zach Evans, who was the number 1 running back in the country last year, removing a lot of his TCU stuff on his social media accounts, I think it's safe to say that he may be on the move. Just saying. Downtown Vol says it would be the most Atlanta thing ever for the Braves to lose this series after taking a 3-1 lead. Yep, and if it happens, it's Ben's fault for jinxing the Braves. Oh, what we got, Ben? We got some breaking news?
Yes, and hold on to your butts, Titans fans.
Oh,
it's not good news.
Ryan Tannehill hurt?
Oh, even worse.
Out for the season.
Even worse.
Mm-hmm.
According to Adam Schefter, Titans running back Derrick Henry suffered a potentially season-ending foot injury during Sunday's 34-31 win over Indianapolis. Sources reported to ESPN. Henry is undergoing an MRI today to determine the full extent of the damage.
Oh, that hurt. Oh, that hurt. Hopefully it's not season ending. If he needs to take a couple of weeks off, I think you can do that because the Titans are, they are 3 games ahead of the Colts in the AFC South. So you have some breathing room. The Texans ain't doing anything. They as bad as poo. Jaguars are terrible. The Colts are the only team that can have a chance to catch you, and they are 3-5. You just beat them in overtime. Hopefully, this is not season ending. Hopefully, he can be able to come back in a couple months for the playoffs. How's Ron Tannehill? Because he took a shot too.
He finished the game though, didn't he?
Yeah, but you can finish the game and still be hurt. So hopefully Tannehill's okay, and if that's the case, I think they can still finish strong. Looking at their record, they play the Rams next, and then the Saints. Those two will be tough. But you got the Texans, you got the Patriots. That'll be tough. Jags, Steelers, 49ers, Dolphins, Texans. So, yeah, I mean, not easy, but certainly not difficult at all. You have a 3-game lead in the AFC South. The Colts will have to play the Bills, the Buccaneers, the Patriots, the Cardinals, and the Raiders. So you're in a good spot to win that AFC South. I know that the home field advantage and getting that bye is something that the Titans were probably eyeing, but just getting to the show and with the healthy Derrick Henry, I think is important. You're an outdoor team anyway, so if you got to play on the road and it's cold, you'll be all right.
Well, personally, I think Derrick Henry should sit out until at least December 19th when the Steelers and Titans play. I just think it would be really good, really smart on his part to sit down, rest up. The Titans are going to make the playoffs because they play in a booty terrible division. And looked how it's worked out for the Braves. I mean, the Braves played in a booty terrible division, and that helped them make the playoffs. And look what the Braves have been able to benefit from.
I don't trust you.
They got hot at the right time.
I don't trust you. Something sounds fishy.
And they made a run. So the Titans
you fishy.
can just kind of mosey on through the regular season because they play in a horrible division. They'll make the playoffs. Derrick Henry sits out to protect this foot at least through December 19th when they play the Steelers. Let that be the final game that you sit out to rest up and then come back around Christmas time and then, boom, hit the playoffs running and go lose to the Steelers in the AFC Championship game and call it a successful season.
Something sounds fishy.
I think it would be very smart.
Let me guess, Ben. Let me guess what you're trying to do. You're trying to avoid playing the Titans with Derrick Henry, ain't you?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm trying to do.
I can hear it in your voice, Ben. I can hear it in your voice. I didn't have to look up the schedule to even know that. You ain't slick.
Well, I'm glad it wasn't the 2 times I pointed out that the Steelers and Titans play on December 19th that didn't give it away.
Yeah, I was doing more important things like making sure that –
like texting somebody back?
No, make sure that J. Dobbs got the email to order that soccer jersey with the checkerboard. So.
Oh, we found it.
Yeah, we found it. So got that email.
Where can I order one?
Well, you got to find out your own damn self. I ain't telling you nothing. It's a secret. It's a secret. It's a secret.
That is brutal news for the Titans.
Fallstorm says, need Andy to help you with those lyrics. Oh, my gosh. My goodness.
That is fun. You know what I realized over the weekend, Swain?
What's that?
Nobody brings people together like the Braves.
How
Just
so?
think about it.
Okay.
Just think about it.
I'm thinking. All right. What you got?
They're the only baseball team in the South. So the state of Tennessee.
What about the Marlins?
That don't count.
Okay,
and Tampa's closer than the Marlins.
Okay.
Florida isn't the South. Florida's not even part of the United States. It's like its own little country down there.
Okay.
I mean, just listen to Daytona's calls. That's all the evidence that you need. That people in Florida are different than the rest of us above that Florida state line. So
That's not nice.
The Braves are the team of the South. What state are the Braves located in?
The Peach State.
Which is the state of Georgia, correct?
Yeah, I don't like where you're going with this because Peter Burns had a tweet that I just wanted to put 4 thumbs down on.
What?
Peter Burns had a tweet talking about, the Braves winning a championship could also be the year that Georgia wins a championship. And I wanted to
No, that's not where I'm going.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
There's no way that the Braves and Georgia will both win a championship in the same year. There's just no way. Maybe one does, but not both at the same time. That is impossible. The universe is not going to align that well. But a lot of people in the state of Georgia are Braves fans, obviously, which people in the state of Georgia are probably University of Georgia fans as well. Then you look to the left of Georgia, no professional baseball team.
No.
So a lot of people in the state of Alabama love the Braves.
Yeah.
I imagine a lot of them are University of Alabama fans.
Yep.
Or Auburn University fans.
Yep.
You look up north of Atlanta and you see the great state of Tennessee, the volunteer state.
Yep.
A lot of Braves fans that are Tennessee fans throughout this state.
Yep.
You kind of start to creep into Reds territory in Kentucky, but there's a couple Braves fans that are Kentucky fans as well. You get on over to Mississippi, and you get a little close to Texas, maybe have some Rangers, have some Astros bums, but I'm sure there's some Mississippi State Braves fans or Ole Miss Braves fans. So I didn't realize just how great the Braves are at bringing people together. I mean, think about it. They have a fan base full of Georgia, Tennessee, and Alabama fans all pulling for the same team. Isn't that remarkable? To know that the likes of Seth Stokes are sitting there cheering on the Braves with the same enthusiasm as an Alabama fan in Tuscaloosa or a Georgia fan in Athens like Chip Payne. I mean, it's just remarkable how well the Braves bring people together.
Jay Hatcher says, Ben lost his damn mind. Go Ravens. Fake Tony Basilio says, what the hell is Ben talking about? SC Vol says, Astro fan here. I see you trying to throw shade to Braves fans. You ain't slick, Ben. You ain't slick. You give the Braves an attaboy, and then you come back in hour number 3, and you're trying to be slick. You're trying to be slick, man. You're trying to be slick, putting the Braves fans in the same category as Georgia fans and Bammers. You ain't slick, man.
You can't dispute facts.
All right, let's get to the phones. Let's get to Chip. Chip, good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are we doing?
Man, wonderful, Chip. How are you?
I'm doing great. I have developed this disliking and hatred for the Kentucky Wildcats, and I think I have 2 people I'm blaming for that. One is JG for making them look so great, last year, and then second, you guys for having that clown on the show called, I think his name is Matt Jones. He's a Kentucky writer.
Yeah, he does radio, and his mid-interview order at the McDonald's drive-thru was probably one of the most disrespectful things that I've encountered on radio. So, man, I understand.
It was great. Y'all did a great job getting him on the show and everything. And I don't know if he'll be back. No, I don't know if you guys are going to have him back. But in any event, it's just a matter of. It's just been my opinion that Kentucky's had some decent things, but I totally feel like they're totally overrated. I think a lot of their wins have come because of the other team just completely shooting themselves in the foot. But in any event, just it'll be great. I hope we can pull off the win. But speaking of the game coming up, so 2 questions for you, and they're both injury related. So, Tom Evans and if y'all heard anything about his status? Is he gonna go, or if he's still having that lower injury issue? And then secondly, the Mississippi State Kentucky game, I watched most of it, and it looked to me like they had a couple of pretty substantial starters go out with injuries, and I didn't know if you guys had any intel on that. I know it's early, it's Monday, but just by watching the game, I don't know if y'all caught any of that. And I'll hang up and listen. Appreciate you guys.
Hey, thank you. And this is injuries are always tough to really talk about on a Monday, but since it's a bye week, I think most of our guys should be back. As far as Tyon tried to go against Alabama, did go, and I don't know if he re-injured it and how bad it is, but I would assume with the bye week that he should be available. I'm assuming. You know, Cooper went against Bama, did not see him go down or take any setbacks, so I'm assuming he will be okay. Cade was at the house cooking dinner for his family. He didn't even make the trip. But I assume that with a couple games left with the bye week and basically these guys not doing any team or practicing like they normally would in a normal bye week situation, I'm assuming that guys are going to be back. That's just my assumption. But take that with a grain of salt. It is Monday. Injuries are weird, but the body heals. The body is so wonderful, and it's truly amazing to see how the body's able to fix itself and correct itself. And with a week of rest, I think a lot of guys will be out there and playing. But we'll see from Josh Heupel as he talks today. I'm pretty sure he won't say much about injuries because he doesn't want to give the advantage to the opponent. So I'll be curious to see what he says on his teleconference later in the week, and then his second appearance, weekly appearance that takes place on Thursday. We'll see what happens there. Beatty Chevrolet Parkside Drive is where I am. Ben McKee is back in the Low T Center studio. Man, we got some pretty cool stuff coming up. We got to tie up some loose ends and make sure that we can actually do it, but it will be legendary. I'll just say that. We're able to pull it off. It will be legendary for our Swain Event listeners. It will be legendary. It will be the opportunity of a freaking lifetime that we'll be able to offer. I can't wait. So should know tomorrow exactly the details. So can't wait to share that, man. It's going to be so great, so happy once we're able to announce this, hopefully tomorrow. Ben McKee, Jason Swain, live here from Beatty Chevrolet Parkside Drive. Be right back.
For a replay of each day's Swain Event TV, like us on Facebook.
Good morning, Swain Event crew. Fall is here, and according to the big box stores, it's Christmas time too. This time of year is traditionally a busy one for the East Tennessee real estate market, and it will continue through the end of 2021 as well. Most people think the holidays aren't the right time to buy and sell. However, it is one of the best times to jump in the market. To find out more, just give me a call, Jennifer Morris, Keller Williams Realty, at 865-257-7897, or email me at jennifermorris865@gmail.com. And go Vols!
JC's Tree and Landscaping Service specializes in quality tree work done at an affordable price. Trimming and removing trees are their specialty. They also offer other services like land clearing, stump grinding, crane services, and all of your basic landscaping needs for both commercial and residential. JC's will give you a free estimate and beat any written quote by a competitor to guarantee that you get the lowest price around. Don't risk your land with a fly-by-night service. JC's Tree and Landscaping is licensed and insured. Give them a call at 865-599-3799. Litter is a big problem in Tennessee, but together we can do big things. We can make our cities, our waterways, our roads cleaner and safer. The Tennessee Department of Transportation is committed to reducing litter in our communities, but we need your help to do it. There are over 100 million pieces of litter in our roads at any given time, and it costs TDOT about $19 million a year just to clean it up. The first step to keeping Tennessee beautiful is to rally behind these three simple words. Nobody trashes Tennessee. Join the Nobody Trashes Tennessee movement at NobodyTrashesTennessee.com. We're here with Dr. Michael Carlson of Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine to discuss PRP, platelet-rich plasma. If you have orthopedic injuries such as shoulder pain, knee pain, Achilles tendonitis, or tennis elbow, you should give them a call.
Good to be back, Jason. We specialize in non-surgical orthopedics, so we treat damaged tendons, ligaments, and joints, including rotator cuff injuries, knee injuries, and elbow and foot problems by using ultrasound-guided injections with PRP. And this form of treatment helps stimulate the body's own reparative process and assist in the healing of damaged tissue.
Doc, what makes your training different than others?
I've been practicing in Knoxville for over 26 years, and I'm certified in interventional regenerative orthopedic medicine through the American Academy of Orthopedic Medicine. They've been the leader in this form of treatment since 1983. I also teach this form of treatment on a national and international basis to other physicians, residents, and medical students. Here in our clinic, I'm the one doing the procedure, and we're using your own PRP, which are concentrated platelets, to treat your injury. So in other words, Jason, it comes from you and it goes back to you. So you know exactly what you're getting and know exactly the level of training involved.
Do what the pros, college athletes, and I have done, and visit them online at trsportsmedicine.com. Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine, East Tennessee's leader in PRP therapy.
More and more Tennessee businesses are switching to Iris networks for reliable, local, high-quality, high-speed business fiber internet. Iris provides direct internet access from 10 megs to 10 gigs with no payments for 90 days. Iris also offers next-generation business phones with work-from-anywhere capability from the mobile or laptop app. With local sales, support, and service, Iris is a partner in the community. Learn more at irisnetworkusa.com or call 865-448-IRIS. Iris Networks, a Tennessee business connecting Tennessee businesses.
Hour 3 of the Swain Event is brought to you by the Low T Center and lowtcenter.com. Do you know your numbers? Feel like you again. Let us help.
There was a reason. There was a reason why earlier in the season when we talked about Kentucky that I had no problem recognizing them as a good football team. But I did have a problem going much past that. And I was really hesitant in crowning them a legitimate top 10 team. Even though they were not a top 10 team, but they were on their way to being one. I just felt like just something was missing. I just didn't see it. And this past weekend was the reason why. Just they're not ready. They're not ready to take the next step. They're not ready. They've taken the next step from being a bottom dweller. They're not a bottom dweller anymore. But this is their best season in program history, it seems. And a couple of years ago, they were on the same trajectory where they were number 11th in the country, came into town, and got the brakes beat off of them by Tennessee. And they started off really hot this year and was right there, the top 10-ish, lost to Georgia. No one's looking at them funny because they lost to Georgia, because everyone's lost to Georgia this year. Their defense is real. But that loss to Mississippi State, it was a bad loss. And it exposed Kentucky. And you see why Stoops made the changes that he made in the offseason, trying to bring more fireworks and explosiveness to that offense with the hire of Cohen, with the transfer portal acquisition of Waddell Robertson. I mean, he's the only guy they try to get the ball to, it seems like. They're still missing a lot on offense. And it's why Tennessee, going into this football game, should feel really good about coming out with a win. But you can't do it playing sloppy. You can't do it turning the football over. You can't do it with penalties. But, man, I'm feeling really confident about this game. I'm thinking about start me an account. Put some money on this game, Ben. You might start me an account for this week.
It seems like you are ready to just go ahead and call a Tennessee win, regardless.
I mean, Kentucky is -4 this game. Come on.
You are far more confident on a Monday than I am. You sound like it's Friday.
Friday might be dangerous, Ben.
Yes, and look, I am very confident in this football game. I think Tennessee has a really good chance to win this game. I really do. I think Tennessee's going to present some challenges for Kentucky, but I'm also not going to let one loss to a solid Mississippi State football team cloud my judgment.
Are we not solid? Are we not solid at football team?
What I just said has nothing to do with whether Tennessee's solid or not.
No, I'm asking you, do you think Tennessee is a solid football team?
Absolutely. That's why I think they have a great chance to win.
Okay, that's all I wonder.
Well, there's been this reaction on social media and the message boards and on the text box that Kentucky is a bad football team because they lost to Mississippi State, and that's where this conversation gets clouded because it's black or white. People can't recognize that that Kentucky's a solid football team.
Yeah, I won't say
they're not
bad.
world beaters. I don't think that they were ever a top 10 team. I don't think really anybody ever talked about Kentucky as a top 10 football team. But I'm not going to discredit them and think that there's some trash football team that Tennessee's going to have an easy time with on Saturday because they lost to Mississippi State. Because Mississippi State's a better football team than people think. Not that they're necessarily a good football team, but like I said a moment ago, they're a solid football team that is more than capable of beating you. Beat A&M earlier this year. Beat Kentucky, obviously, on Saturday. That State football team is a solid football team. And I think Tennessee's more than solid, quite frankly. So I'm confident in this game. I'm just not as confident on this Monday as you are. It seems like you're ready to go write a big old fat check at the bank.
I just think the matchups are in Tennessee favor, the same way I looked at the Mizzou game. And the outcome of the Mizzou game, you have to take that out of the equation, right? Because we're talking about something that has not happened yet against something that already happened. I'm looking at how I felt pre-Mizzou when I looked at Mizzou on film and I saw where they were weak at and where Tennessee was strong. And the matchup just favored Tennessee. I'm looking at where Tennessee is strong and where Kentucky is weak, and that matchup favors Tennessee. That's how I feel. Now Friday, you're right. It may be a crazy show because I am very confident. I'm confident in what I saw from Kentucky on Saturday and what I have seen from Kentucky. Like, I've watched Kentucky 3 or 4 times this year, and the same issues that they've had, even in a win they had against Mississippi State, they were just exposed more, and Will Levis just had a bad day on top of Chris Rodriguez fumbling and put the ball in the ground. So they have the same issues. They are not dynamic throwing the football. It's why you read off those stats at the beginning of the season. It's not a stat from just one game. It is a stat from the regular season. This is who they are. This is who they are. They struggle at generating explosive plays. This is what they struggle at. You pair that with a defense that they're not Georgia. They're not world beaters. But, man, they create situations where you have a long down and distance. So they create plays behind the backfield. Tennessee is one of the best teams in the country at tackles for loss. So if you pair that up against Kentucky's offense, Tennessee's going to have some tackles behind the line of scrimmage. That means Kentucky's going to be behind the chains. And Kentucky's one of the worst teams at generating long plays. That's just a recipe for disaster for Kentucky. And then Tennessee against Alabama, against Ole Miss, against Florida, against other teams this season, we have generated some of those big explosive plays. Kentucky won't be able to match it if you go look at what they've done all season long. So that's why I'm confident today. We'll see what happens with the injuries. We'll see what happens with how guys feel. But, yes, I am confident today. I was confident yesterday. I was confident during the Mississippi State game. Yes, I'm confident that Tennessee should win this game if they play clean enough. I don't expect a spick and span clean type of game, but I do expect them to play clean enough because Kentucky just can't generate explosive plays, and that's going to hurt them. 865-255-03. Can you explain the matchups that you like? Yeah, we'll go back in detail tomorrow, the next day on the matchups, because I just don't want to throw it out today. Let us have a little bit to talk about tomorrow and Wednesday and Thursday, right? We don't want to shoot our shot on one day. So we'll go back and really dive in and look at the position matchups and the position advantages. Not saying Tennessee has an advantage in every position, because there's some matchups where Kentucky is clearly superior than Tennessee in. Okay. Riley Vall says Matt Jones may hire Ben. Take a lot of money for Ben to make that move, right, Ben?
Yeah.
A lot of money. Look at the over-under. Can Kentucky score over 30 on us? What's the over-under? I think it was like 60? 60-something?
I haven't seen it. I just saw where Kentucky was 4-point favorites.
Let me see where the over-under is. I did see -4, like you just mentioned.
58.5.
58.5. I see 60.5 here on DraftKings. Everyone just got their own little book, right? Everybody got their own book.
I'm looking on the ESPN app, whatever they go off of.
Okay. So, around that area. My reaction, my initial reaction says take the under.
That's mine too.
Yeah, my initial thought is to take the under on that one. 865-255-03. Other McKee says, yeah, it was 16.5 earlier today. Riley Vall says, yeah, so Vegas is saying like 31-28 Cats. Foxball asked if Tyon's healthy. Yeah, we talked a little bit about Tyon's health. Played against Alabama, had a bye week. We did have someone on the text box say that Tyon said he was going to play, but Tyon said he's going to play against South Carolina too. So take that for what it's worth. Let's get to Rusty. Rusty, good morning.
Good morning. What's going on?
Man, everything. Good morning.
So, the 4-point spread with the home team getting 3 and Kentucky being a 2-loss football team and us being where we're at, I get what you're saying. The matchups do look good because the way we get guys open in space, and that's something that Kentucky seems like they would have a problem with. We're really good, it seems like this year, at putting teams in 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8 plus. We did it to Alabama. We just failed to get them off the field in 3rd and long. We did the same thing as Ole Miss. But I guess my question is, do you think the spread is partially because the name on the front of the jerseys? Because historically, Kentucky is Kentucky football, and Tennessee is Tennessee football, even as bad as it's been the last 10 years. If you reverse just took the names off of it and just put the 2 teams out there for Vegas, would Tennessee be favored by well more than 4 in this ball game if everything was reversed because of the history of the 2 programs?
So you think Tennessee is being dinged for being Tennessee?
I think Kentucky's being dinged. I think on paper you would say one team's been perennially top 20, top 15 football team all year, and the other team's not been in the top 25 at all. One team's at home, and they're only favored by 4, and I'm guessing it's because of Kentucky historically. Now, I agree with you. I think we're going to win the ball game. I'm just wondering if Vegas has the odds where they do, partially because the team that's actually better on paper this year is the team wearing blue, not the team wearing orange. And if it would be reversed, if we would be favored by a lot more if on paper we had Kentucky's numbers as far as wins and losses and where we've been ranked and stuff like that. If we were the number 15, 17 ranked team all year like Kentucky's been, we'd be favored by probably 8 or 9 in this ball game, I think. And Kentucky was where we are right now, 5-4 or 4-4, whatever it is.
Well, check this out. When Kentucky and Mississippi State matched up, the spread was just Kentucky -1 on the road. I think Vegas said, look at Mississippi State's style of play, look at Kentucky's weakness.
Yeah.
And I think they put that in consideration. I think they're doing the same thing with the Tennessee Kentucky game. That's what I think.
I get what you're saying. Yeah. So you don't think it has anything to do with the name on the front of the jersey, that Kentucky's getting dinged because they're Kentucky?
I won't say I don't think it has anything to do with it. I just think that the matchup has more to do with anything else. I look at this Mississippi State line of last week, and Mississippi State was favored when it first opened, and then it switched to Kentucky by 1. And if you were talking about a Kentucky team that was ranked in the top 15 versus a Mississippi State team with multiple losses, you would think that Kentucky's supposed to be at least a 3 to 6 to 7 point favorite going down there. But no, man, open as Mississippi State is a favorite. So I think what they do well versus what Kentucky does well, I thought the matchup just favored Mississippi State. I think Vegas considered that. I think they're considering it again here with Tennessee.
I got you.
That's just how I feel. I may be wrong, but that's how I feel.
Got you. Kentucky's crowd Saturday night. Do you feel like after coming off back-to-back losses and them being Big Blue Nation basketball is starting to get underway, this isn't going to be the Kentucky crowd we saw when they played LSU at home and Florida at home? How do you feel about that?
I don't think it'll be the same crowd as when we played Florida at home, but I think it's still going to be damn loud and can pose some problems. Because it's Tennessee.
Yeah.
It's Tennessee, man.
They hate us.
They hate us.
They
hate us. And, Kentucky, I know how it is a basketball season, but I think year in, year out, there's more fans that pay attention to football a little bit longer before completely flipping over to basketball. I think Stoops has earned that right, but I think the crowd will be still loud, and I think if Tennessee is not on their A game and communication at the line of scrimmage on offense, then it can create some issues for sure. But if you are a Tennessee football player, you should expect the crowd to be loud. I think it will be.
Yeah. Last thing on it. You touched on it earlier. Clean football. You wrote the Pitt game where we were terrible as far as all the little things, the pre-snap stuff that got us in situations where we were in bad down and distances. It was, to me, it wasn't just the Pitt game. It's in the Florida game. I'll remove the Florida game, but the other 3 losses, even the Ole Miss game, the Alabama game, the Pitt game, it seems like we have not played at all clean football and just been efficient in the pre-snap stuff in all 3 losses. And the Missouri and South Carolina games where we really looked like a lead offense, we played perfectly clean. Was it just some days we're off, or was it because the opponent made us nervous pre-snap?
I look at the Ole Miss game in Tennessee. The turnover margin was a wash. Tennessee only had 6 penalties.
Yeah, not turn up.
Yeah, for 6.
It seemed like we were putting ourselves in bad stuff.
Well, I mean, you had
before.
You only had 6 penalties, 48 yards. You had a major injury to your starting right tackle, and then at one point in the second half, you had a former walk-on tackle, and 2 players on the offensive line that never played up until this year, and a walk-on running back. I think the injuries during the game hurt Tennessee, but I don't think we played super sloppy, and you can compare it to Pitt. Pitt was early in the season. We're a different team now than we were against Pitt. That was a game where you lost in the turnover margin, and you had over 100 yards in penalty yards. And then Alabama, if you want to go look at the Alabama game and kind of what we did there, we had the interception. At a very
block punt.
Yeah, very crucial time. Well, we blocked the punt against them, but we threw the end.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
We blocked the punt even.
Yeah, and we created a fumble.
But then we turn around and get a false start as soon as we do it.
Correct. So we failed to capitalize on those opportunities on the block punt, on the fumble that we recovered. Like, we just failed to really capitalize. And I think our depth played a big part too. But I didn't think we played like terribly dirty, if I can use that word, when describing our play against Ole Miss. I just think that the injury situation, didn't have Tyon, I mean, you didn't have K. Mays. I thought it just came out to bite you in the butt.
Yeah. All right, fellas.
My man,
back in Tennessee.
put you in the phone call. Yeah, I mean, I look at the Alabama game, and it wasn't as clean as it was against Ole Miss. Not saying Ole Miss was clean, but Alabama, you had 12 penalties for 98 yards, and you had that crucial pick there in the fourth quarter. Now, it doesn't really show up in the stat sheet, but the block punt, you kind of look at that as a turnover. So Tennessee, technically, I think, won the turnover margin in that game. And I don't know why they don't even put it as a turnover, because really it is. What if the punter, instead of getting the ball blocked, what if he just fumbled? It's the same result. One shows up in the stat sheet, the other one doesn't. Tennessee had an extra possession from that play, just unable to capitalize. Bye week, you're rested. Tennessee should be healthy, more healthy than it was against Ole Miss. So you look at how Kentucky played, you look at what Kentucky struggles with. There's a reason why Rusty is confident. There's a reason why I am confident. There's a reason why Ben is confident. Maybe not as confident as me, but confident.
I am confident, point blank, period.
But you said that you were not as confident as me.
I know, but I'm emphasizing that I am confident, point blank, period, because people like to take it and twist it as if I think Kentucky's going to run away with it and just dominate, and I think Kentucky's the best football team in the country. Like, people take it a little bit too far.
I don't know why. I mean, it's pretty easy to understand that like,
because folks don't like to hear good things said about Kentucky,
I guess. Other McKee, what is confusing about the questions that Rusty had, an argument that he was trying to make? What's confusing, Other McKee? What is confusing?
I think he's pointing out that he disagreed with Rusty's point about the name on the jersey impacting the line.
Yeah, I disagree too. I just, Rusty didn't, Other McKee didn't say, so he just says this argument makes no sense. I just want to know what part of the argument he's referring to. Riley Vall says Hendon getting 8 to 10 carries this week. Oh yeah, you better believe it. You better believe it. I don't think Hendon is as efficient throwing the football as Will Rogers, so I think he'll have to use his legs and throw the football, which he's been good at doing too. Will Rogers went 33 for 36. If I'm not mistaken,
he was really good.
I mean,
dude, he was really good.
He was 30. I'm gonna look it up right now. He was very efficient throwing the football. He was throwing dimes out there. I love me some Hendon Hooker.
36 for 39, 344, 8.8 yards on average, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions.
You can't get much better than that unless you throw a couple more touchdowns. But dude, that is efficient, and that is all from the pocket. Hendon is not just a pocket passer. That's not his game. That's not what he has done. That's okay. So I don't think that Tennessee will use him the same way. I think that he will have well over 8 carries in this football game because he makes Tennessee dangerous when he's running the football. Truly, truly believe that. Dangerous. How many rushes did Hendon have against Alabama? He had 12 against Alabama. So, heck yeah, he's going to have 8 and 10 against Kentucky.
Oh, I think he'll have more than that.
He might mess around and have more carries than the running backs.
Which I know you said that in a tone of like, yeah, he'll definitely have that. So I know you'll think he'll have more than 8 or 10 as well.
Oh, yeah. I think so. I think so, for sure. No,
and he really didn't run a lot against Bama because he had that bum leg from the Ole Miss game, or the bum knee bruise from the Ole Miss game.
And it's crazy. Right. He still ran 12 times.
Yeah.
He still ran 12 times. It didn't seem like he ran that much, but he still ran 12 times. And there's running backs that don't even get 12 carries in a game. So, men, November is officially Men's Health Month. So be sure to get all of your levels tested with a comprehensive annual health assessment at the Low T Center. They will check all of your levels, not just your testosterone levels. The Low T Center specializes in men's wellness. Right now, Low T is offering convenient, monitored, self-inject, at-home testosterone treatments for just $155 a month for self-pay, or it's covered by most health insurance. They can ship directly to your home. Let me say that one more time. $155 a month for monitored self-inject treatments, and they ship directly to you. Make sure you go to lowtcenter.com for more details and information. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare. Tomorrow, we'll look at position matchups. We'll look at the O-line versus D-line, Tennessee versus Kentucky's, receivers from Tennessee versus Kentucky DBs. Where does the advantage lie? We will go into more details about this game. But it was a great weekend of sports. Tennessee basketball getting underway. Very excited about this basketball team and Kenny Chandler. He is special. Got baseball. The Braves, one win away from the World Series. You got Tennessee football, big-time opportunity to beat a ranked opponent on the road against Kentucky. Soccer team getting it done, winning the SEC East. Coach being recognized. There's a lot of good stuff going on right now if you are a Tennessee fan and a Titans fan. Even though Derrick Henry's health is up in the air, Titans are winning. Big-time win over the Colts. And we didn't have for what today, but, man, you got to give it to Carson Wentz. What are you doing, Carson Wentz? That was the worst football play I've seen in a very, very long time. What was that? You just threw it up for grabs? Just threw it up. Titans player had an easy pick six. There has not been a pick six that was easier this season in the NFL. What is Carson Wentz doing? 2 interceptions, Ben, in the fourth quarter and overtime. That's why he was brought into the Colts, is to get them over the hump. They have a good defense. They have playmakers on the outside. They have a running game with Jonathan Taylor, good offensive line. Carson Wentz is supposed to be the guy that gets them over the hump, and he absolutely peed down his left leg in the fourth quarter and overtime against the Titans, an in-division rival.
And he had been doing a pretty good job of taking care of the football.
Mm-hmm.
That's obviously why he got run out of Philly. So hopefully he can shake back for the sake of Colts fans. We Tennessee fans have experienced that experience, and it is not fun. So hopefully for the sanity of Colts fans, and I'm sure there's a couple listening who became Colts fans when Peyton was drafted there and stuck around. So for their sake, I hope that Carson Wentz stops doing the stupid turnovers. You can understand because the one in overtime was just as bad. I mean, he had, I think, the running back wide open over the middle of the field, like 17 yards downfield, could have caught it. There was nobody around him, and he could have picked up some serious yak and instead tried to force it into double coverage, and Kevin Byard came away with it. It was, whew.
Yeah, only one interception thrown before week 8. Only had one in week 2 against the Rams. He did have a couple fumbles. He had 4 before Sunday's game against the Titans. Had 1 against the Titans. Did not lose it, though. On the season, he's had 3 lost fumbles, only 1 interception, but Titans game, division rival, division game, he had 2 interceptions in the 4th and in overtime. So not a good day for Carson Wentz. I'm sure that he's looking forward to bouncing back. But the Titans have a multiple game lead there in the AFC South. 3-game lead. So Titans looking good. Just hope to hear some good news about Derrick Henry's foot. For Ben McKee, I'm Jason Swain here at Beatty Chevrolet, Parkside Drive. Remember, 150 new and used car vehicles right here on their lot. They will trade for anything. They will buy what you have. Come on in here. Let the good guys here at Beatty Chevrolet get you taken care of. It's not about just this purchase. It's about future purchases for your kids, your kids' kids, your wife, your grandma, your uncle. They want to take care of your family. It's only one way to do that, and that is to make sure they take care of you on their first time around. Let them take care of you like they took care of me and my family. That's BettyChevrolet.com. Ben, see you tomorrow, my friend. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue. Peace and love. We are out.